Well, the YouTube's just getting it now then. So I guess welcome in everyone on the YouTube side. Let me do throw and then again, I guess, because I don't think it worked. But it wasn't streaming, I guess. But welcome in. How are you? I'm really excited to play Feline Forensics and the Meowseum Mystery, to be honest. I really enjoyed Dr. Detective. I haven't played the second one, but I played the first one. I actually got it for my birthday last year from Nikki, I'm pretty sure. So, like, you know, it's a nice time to be playing this one. I wish I had a glitter command. I need to get one for you, Kyla. But we are only £4 away from hitting our next donation goal. So, like, even just one more sub today or money contributed towards the camera or £5 will push us over the goal to Discord movie night. I still need to do chat tweets. So, Kyla, Panda, if you have, or anyone else lurking, if you want to jump out a lurk, that's fine. If you don't, that's also fine. If you want to let me know something I should tweet out, because I haven't done that yet, actually. I keep forgetting. I don't think we really had chance to yesterday, but we have unlocked that. We unlocked it at the beginning of the first stream, so we need to do that. And I want to make sure I'm giving you all your goals. And if you are in the Discord, please make sure you're picking my next game. We will try and play that next week. If you pick a game out, we can do a poll. We can do a poll, and then after everyone has voted, I will play that game. And then, yeah, we're gonna do a new point redeem. We'll sort all that out after we've finished doing this 2-week celebration, which we're almost at 1 week now. So yeah, but yeah, so the next one is Discord movie night, which I'm really excited for. That'll be another one that we have to try and get everyone to agree on what we want to watch. But let's get into the game. So we are only £4 away from our next goal. Less than that, honestly. We are like 3 away from our next goal. But we're playing Feline Forensics and the Meowseum Mystery. But as well, I think the YouTube video has been doing quite well. I'm really impressed with it. Welcome in, Jazz. How are you? Yeah, I think the video did like, we're up to almost like 30 views, I think, in the analytics. I don't know if that's what it's saying. Work lucky, no problem. So I'm really proud of that. I really enjoyed making the thrifty business 100%, so I'm really happy with how that's going. Okay. So the first achievement will be for obviously completing the tutorial, so we need to do that. Another long day. Street lamps are already on and I haven't even been in my office yet. I should check my computer. I'm sure I have at least a few emails waiting by now. Although, if it's the commissioner volunteering me for more debriefs, I'll have to put my paw down. Look, it's that detective feel. I love this. What was we playing the other day? Oh, it was the case files one. That, like, I was like, this feels so much like Dr. Detective. I just wish I had a little bit more freedom with it. But I love it. So it is enter to interact with things, which is a little bit weird. Alright, let's see if this old litter box still works. I just need to log in and, it won't take my password. Something here has my whiskers twitching. This might turn into a regular investigation. Try tracking all leads on this bulletin board, in case I need to reference them again. Unknown password, okay. If I had changed it, I certainly wouldn't have written it down on a note and put it in my desk. Okay. Let's shut the desk then. Let's see what should I take a look at. The desk. Possible I just wrote the password down and threw it in my desk drawer. Okay, not in the top drawer. Surely it'll be in the bottom drawer. Aha, this must be it. No, wait, this is just a standard department business card. Following procedure requires I enter it into evidence, but unfortunately this might be more serious than it seems. Okay, let's have a look at phone as well. I could call the department secretary for help if they hadn't already gone home for the day. Let's see what I should take a look at. My computer. Nothing changed. My computer is still locked. I probably shouldn't try the password again until I know what it is. Let's see what I should take a look at. Okay, nothing. How do we get out of this then when we don't want... Okay. What is E? Business card. Oh, I'm keeping it in. I can look at it. Is it backspace to turn it over? No, it's backspace to go back. Okay. Maybe we need to leave then. All I found with my desk was an old business card. And I'm not sure how helpful it would. I guess I could give it a second glance. E. The controls are really weird. Okay. Have a look at it again. 555 office. What am I looking at? Oh, I'm trying to turn it over. Emergencies only. Oh, of course. I knew there was something else here. Why didn't I think to flip over that business card sooner? The extension written here belongs to the department manager. Luckily, I would classify this as an emergency. Should I give them a call immediately and let them know what's going on? I don't think this is really an emergency. You can't remember your password. But now that I have the department manager's extension, I can give them a call about my computer. Good evening, detective. I hope this is important because I'm in the middle of a dinner with my family. Apologies, but we might have a security issue. My computer password's inexplicably changed. I hate to break this news to you, detective, but the inexplicable is in fact quite explainable. If I do recall, this is the second time this week you've interrupted my wife's delicious home-cooked meal. I'm sorry. When Michael gathered you on another milk-fueled bender through a slurred speech, you told me you changed your own password. And this is the part where I'm so embarrassed you tell me the password, correct? I would consider, but you also informed me that you hid it somewhere that only a detective of your caliber would be able to find. So get on with it and ensure that not a single report on this matter is out of place tomorrow. Let me reiterate while you're in the right mind. Do not call me again unless it's a real emergency. I think if I just forgot my password, this wouldn't be as humiliating. Either way, not my proudest moment, but I can make up for that even if I'm technically this crime's primary suspect. Retracing my steps, following the proper timeline, and correcting any inconsistencies in the case notes would be paramount. Detective less notes. Detective less notes. Like, after the department note was hacked. Testimonies, department manager. I see, that makes sense. The department manager did confirm that nothing was hacked. Embarrassingly, just a bit too much indulgence on my part. That being said, I've only got a rough outline from here, and they won't settle for anything less than perfection. It's time to thoroughly investigate the rest of my office, and I'll use my journal to fill in the blank necessary. Something over here to investigate? Yeah, the bookshelf. It's really packed with different tomes, journals, studies, and the occasional one. If I hid some sort of clue in these books, it would take me far longer to find it than it's worth. I wouldn't even put it past myself. I don't have anything to go on yet. Is there something over there to investigate? Filing cabinets? Usually just for keeping contract, reference document, and various policy paperwork. I can't imagine I would have slid a note with the password into this mess of a drawer. Even under the strong influence of dairy, I wouldn't have done something so reckless. Is there something over here to investigate? Trash can? Dig to the truth, you've got to act like an alley cat. A milk carton, comically clean fish bones, used yarn ball. None of this looks very helpful. Wait a minute, there's a crumpled receipt and it looks like I've redacted most of it. Nothing about the actual purchase remains, and only the store's address is left visible. Where could this lead me? Is there something over here to investigate? Nope. Let me have a look. Let's take a look at that. Can I not look at it? Oh, it tells you that. What is C? Oh, unbeknownst to the detective. Unbeknownst to the detective, something blank changed the something. What about if it's not? Changed the password to his computer and hid it inside. I don't know. Not detective, the desk manager, secretary, commissioner. Commissioner? Or is it just detective again? Unbeknownst to the detective changed the password to his computer and hid it inside a desk. It's not inside the desk. We've looked here. We've looked there. Look here. Let's see what we can find over here. The cat tower. One might ask themselves, why would any self-respecting feline investigator keep one of these demeaning furniture pieces of their professional office? It was a gift from an old co-worker who thought they were being exceptionally humorous. Also, it keeps my claws properly managed and sometimes helps me think. Let's see what I can find over here. Filing cabinet. A few of these cabinets keep track of all my previous. Oh, of course, it's not unlocked. The records are pretty confidential. Wait, I don't lock these. Not since I kept misplacing the key. I'm certain this is significant. Might have put my password in here. At the very least, another clue. Let's see what we can find over here. Nothing. Anything over here? Possible I hid the password within the potting soil of this plant. However, until I have a compelling reason to believe that I'm not willing to make a mess of the hardwood floor. Is it by chance maybe... Furthermore, he forgot the password. And forgot the... I don't know. Have a look here. Notes. Without the current password, he cannot unlock. I've returned to the office. The detective changed his computer login information before he lost his way. So this is just new notes. Why can't I go back? Is it Z again? Okay. Q. Look inside the key. I slightly unlocked my password inside the filing cabinet. Okay. So if we look at this, inside a... Do I have a cabinet? Furthermore, he forgot the password to... No, I don't know this one. It's over here. Where would it be? Is he detective? Yeah. Where would it be? If there's somewhere I should cross-reference this. Do I have a map or anything? Can I not leave? This is not right, but these are all right. I've played Detective and you love it a lot. I think you'll like this then. Unbeknownst to, it's not detective. It might be commissioner. No. Unbeknownst to the computer, do you think? Yeah. Is it not like that? I'm so confused. Unbeknownst to the detective. Furthermore, he hid. That game is funny. Do they have this on mobile? I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether they have this on mobile or not. They might not. Not a plant. It might be a computer. I don't really understand. Example, closed sections have 2 or fewer incorrect. Oh, so they have 2 or fewer incorrect. So, okay. And changed the... And hid it inside a plant. So maybe it's not plant. Hid it inside an office? No, that's a desk. It must be this one because that doesn't change when you do that. Hid it inside a computer? Yeah, it's definitely this one. It could be desk though. And forgot. I think it's these two, forgot and death. This is just totally wrong. Furthermore, he forgot. Forgot the inside a plant that the is this just gonna be detective again? Recently hid. I've got no clue here. Is there somewhere I can cross-reference this? I don't know. How would I cross-reference? Where did I hide the key? I don't know. Do we have any ideas? Let me look everywhere again. Is there anything you can think of that I haven't done? I'm just looking at like... I'm just gonna look at controls if I can. Next tab, previous tab, autocomplete previous page. I'm just wondering if there's like another page here. Nope, not there, there's not. No, 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 what time? Where would you cross-reference a file? Where would you cross-reference that? I don't know. Oh? Oh, map of his... Oh, was I supposed to turn the camera around? I don't remember all the thumbtacks that each holding a shred of paper to the various addresses in the city, but none of them seemed more important than the other. I can't put a receipt and address on it though. What was it? 13 North Street. I don't recall what was around here, but that slip of paper does have a phone number written on it. It looks like it's time to make another call. Am I actually supposed to be able to turn the map round? Yeah, I am. Oh, I see. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, let's see. What should I take a look at? The phone, obviously. If the number a call, hopefully they're still open. They can make some sense of this receipt. Good evening, book Gator on second. What can I do for you? Of course, the local bookstore. How could I forget? Sir, do you need help with something? Hello, yes, sorry, I do actually. Might be an odd question, but I have a receipt that I'm not sure of what it was that I purchased. I've been expecting your call, detective. Oh, of course you have. Stumbled in, disgruntled after an argument with this devious plan. I didn't ask questions, but you warned me that this call was likely. Oh dear. Now about that book, please tell me it's not something terribly inappropriate. No, not quite. The book's title is On the Historical Development of Cat Burglary. Okay, thank you. That'll be all. Sure you don't need anything else, detective? No, really, it's okay. Thank you. Ugh, if I wasn't embarrassed enough. So now I'm guessing it's a book, obviously. The bookshelf. This shelf is absolutely packed with different journals. The clerk of the book in question had something to do with cat burglary. So where is it? Dignity and Domestication by the Great Dane Austen. Les Miserables by Vermin Hugo. Call of the Wild by Jack London. Okay, more novels than I thought, but these are classics. Oh, here's the one I'm looking for. The question now is, why would I have purchased this book specifically? Is there something over here to investigate? No. I guess we need to take a look at the book. Furthermore, he... Can I put it, like, inside a book, maybe? Remember our detective? The detective changed the password to his computer and hid... I'm going to go with hid again. And hid it inside a book. And purchased it inside a book. No, and forgot it inside a book. No, maybe it's not for book. Furthermore, he purchased... I don't think we have receipt. No. Furthermore, he purchased the book to the... No, this is purchased here that he recently purchased inside a book that the detective recently put. These three are right. Furthermore, he hid the password to the computer. Furthermore, he hid the password to the computer inside a book the detective recently purchased. A mission I recently purchased? Nope. That was detective. To the desk? That is wrong. To the phone? Is this password? Furthermore, you hid the blank to the password. Do we have like... Furthermore, he hid the password to the computer the computer inside. Okay, but maybe we're missing something else. It's fine. Panda friend is here. Panda is here. Okay, right. So we're having the timeline. Lock the password in the filing cabinet over behind the key. Found a book. Found a purchase. The store clerk seems to be hiding something about it. Okay, E. We've got the book in question here. Oh, historical development. Can I open it? Oh, it says don't open. Great job, detective. Oh, of course. I knew there was something else. I bought a hollow trick book. No wonder the bookstore clerk was holding back a laugh. With my cabinet key hidden inside, no less. I think it was nearing the end of the case. Good thing the trains will still be running for a little longer. I've got the key now, so let's get this locked cabinet opened up and see what we find. There's a note right on top, a great change of pace, or maybe I'm just getting lazy. Doesn't seem to be any cipher or code. Either way, it looks like a normal password. I should try it and then make sure all my notes are in order. Wouldn't want to track any more eye from the department manager than I already have. Let's see what we find over here. Nothing. We have the password. Computer. I've got the password supposedly now for the moment of truth. It's possible that this has been a red herring all along. Oh, it works. I'm logged in and I have exactly 0 emails that require my attention. It's a relief, of course, but the department manager will have my fur if I don't get the rest of these notes in order before I go home. See what I should take a look at. Okay, right. So, first of all, Zed. Turn to the office, the detective logged his computer information before it was completely lost to the memory of... No, I don't think that's right. Surely my memory has been this hazy. No, I got it wrong. Okay, try again. Evidence. Password reminder. See, that makes sense. Of course, the reason for this entire mystery locked up in the lone filing cabinet. Looks like I haven't forgot about it twice, at least not yet. Okay, unbeknownst to the detective changed the password to his computer and forgot it inside. No, and hid it inside a cabinet. And then this one, he's hid the key to the cabinet. Yeah, so furthermore, he hid the key to the cabinet inside a book the detective recently purchased. Unbeknownst to the detective changed the password to his computer and hid it inside a cabinet. Oh, Panda, thank you so much for the gifted sub. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let us get that fixed. Hang on 2 seconds here so that I can get this updated. Okay, right. I'm completely, you throw me off every time. Right, so the next one I think is 50, right? And now we're at 20. We've added 5 onto that, so we're at 26. And it's no longer Discord movie night, it's Discord, it's game night, right? Discord community, Discord game night. Let's call it that. Thank you so much. And then let me just duplicate that. So we've hit our 25 goal as well. Thank you so much, Panda. I really appreciate you. You spoil me. Thank you so much. And Magic, enjoy your tier 1 subscription. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Panda. You are so sweet. I'm trying to solve this. I'm gonna ask the detective. The detective changed the password. Oh, what about if it's not? It's hid. Or is it forgot? Changed the password and forgot. Unbeknownst to detective, the detective changed the password to his unbeknownst to the detective detective changed the password to his, it's got to be computer. And locked. It's inside a cabinet. Aha. I knew I was on to something. While a fantastic treat, a night out at the milk bar might cause me more trouble than it's worth. Oh, why is the phone ringing? Could it be a manager already? Let me swap over quickly to the right tab so I can see what achievement I'm supposed to be getting. Let's see, what should I take a look at? The phone. Hello, Feline Frantic Private Detective. Detective, I'm glad to hear you're burning the midnight oil. Commissioner, what do I owe the pleasure? Business, not pleasure. There's been an incident. Private property. They asked for you. I'm sending a cruiser. The officer will fill you in on the way. The case seems pretty involved and it's still within my jurisdiction. You will go by the book, detective. Sure you aware that if you don't, your license will on the line. Again. What a ray of sunshine the commissioner is these days. It's going to be an even later night than I thought. Evening, officer. What we're looking at this time? Oh, detective, no need to be so formal. Although, we're headed to a pretty fancy museum, so maybe I spoke too soon. The one on the east side of town? What happened? Sounds like an attempted heist gone sideways. Nobody was able to flee the scene, but an important exhibit has gone missing. I'm not sure if it was one of the thieves, another visitor, or a staff member, but they said somebody might have been shot in the process. Oh dear. Let's hope things have kept under control soon. Kyla, thank you so much for the glitter. You make it seem like the scenario is contained, but you have to make that call yourself. I don't know much more than that, but we'll be there soon. And here we are. Told you it wouldn't take long. Always a pleasure. Wish me luck. I have a feeling this is going to be a long night. Look, detective, I'm sure everything will go just fine. And I know you like to work alone, but if you need some help from the department, just give us a call on that payphone over there. We'll see if that's necessary. For now, it's time to get to work. The sign for the museum with its namesake, Kranenberg, on the official logo, illuminated by a few small spotlights. No one would have suspected a heist turned murder. Well, I guess it could be a murder turned heist. These are kind of questions I still need to answer with my expert feline sleuthing skills. This placard reads, Honk, the Herald Angel by an unknown artist. Wonderful and timeless picture of Mother Goose's Agents of Peace. That said, the biblically accurate sculptures are more compelling. In we go. Ah, detective, thank goodness you've finally arrived. I'm the curator of this museum and that one that called the police. Thank you for coming on such short notice. For crime, there's no such thing as short notice, and the detective must always be prepared to put a stop to it. Yes, well, please work with the utmost efficiency. A catastrophe of this scale could be a disaster. If word got out that our most precious gemstone was stolen, who knows what would happen. Not only that, but would the museum's reputation be forever marred? We could be the target of even more horrific criminals. You're understandably concerned, but I assure you I'll sort this out. This is far from my first case. Although, if my debrief was accurate, there was also an unfortunate murder in the process, is that right? Yes, that punk. I just hate to even think about it. I suppose you could take care of that as well, but in my opinion, the sooner we get the innocent people home, the better. A rushed investigation leads to sloppy work, so I can't promise this will be quick or easy. Always glad to share. Thank you, Kyla. Regardless, I trust you'll do your best, and if you could keep me posted on your progress, it would be greatly appreciated. Of course, I have several things to discuss if we could. Personal question? Ask away, detective. Who are you? As I said before, I'm the purveyor of this prestigious museum. Past that, there isn't much more to disclose. Do you have any associations outside your work here? Perhaps family, perhaps? Is this vital to solving our case, Detective? Otherwise, I'd request that you inquire no further. It certainly could, depend on how it continues to unfold. Fine. I do have a family. I'm currently separated from them over personal matters. And I can assure you they have nothing to do with the stolen gemstone or the murder unless you'd like to interrogate them unnecessarily as well. As always, I appreciate your cooperation. Let's move on. I would expect nothing less. Personal questions, ask away. What do you do? I manage the museum staff, exhibitions, publicity funding, and well, just about everything. Wouldn't it be easy to delegate some of that work? Well, you see, we simply don't have extra revenue to accommodate that. While incredibly valuable to the human condition, a museum of this caliber is hardly ever profitable. Oh, my apologies if this is a sore subject. I simply don't enjoy the idea that someone would look at what we do here and assume it was all that easy. It requires hard work and sacrifice, Detective. It's not a sore subject, it's a harsh reality. Of course. Again, my serious apologies. Let's get to another question about the museum. Right, let me provide a brief overview of the layout so you know what you're dealing with. Currently, we're standing in the museum's foyer, which has the only exterior doorway. In the east wing, we have sculpture gallery featuring contemporary works. On the west side is the display works of natural history with geological and pre-civilization origins. The central connecting exhibit is the courtyard to just the north of us now. Further north, we have an antiques host to several artifacts and art pieces spanning global cultures and eras. On the second floor, there is one unique gallery, fine art, typically canvases. Of course, as you investigate, you'll notice there are balconies that look down into a few of the first floor exhibits as well. I hope this is helpful, Detective, but if you can always reference the brochure map if you have got lost somehow. Very helpful, thank you. Do you mind if I ask a couple more questions before I go? Have I asked everything? Actually. Today's events. Go on then. Before. What were you doing? During operating hours, I don't do much except greet visitors, and today was no exception. On days when we're particularly busy, I may mingle and at the guard stand station, but that wasn't the case today. Up until the argument began upstairs, nothing seemed out of place. The guard and I were here having an idle chat. Unfortunate that it couldn't stay that way. Could I ask a few more questions then? Certainly. What happened? The guard and I heard an argument beginning upstairs. It wasn't an immediate concern to me. I didn't want him to make a scene, but it continued to heat up on its own. Then we heard the gunshots a moment later. Even with the accompanied sound of broken glass, my instincts were to make sure the guide was safe. I thought she was in the sculpture gallery, but the guard found her in antiques, stunned. He called for me and I ran over, and it was true. She was frozen solid. Startled by the cacophonous noise, the guard was concerned, of course, but took off towards the blaring alarm. Despite the chaos of it all, I maintained my focus on her. Eventually, I got through. Do you know the first thing she said to me, Detective? Call the police. Immediately looking for the museum, so selfless, to a fault. I went back to the foyer to do just that, but the tourists and the artists were there begging that I release the lockdown. I don't know who was responsible for this mess, so I brushed them off without much opposition and made the call. I see. Let's move on to another topic then. I think we've asked everything there is. Oh, I took a screenshot. Oops. Let's talk to the bear. Hey, hold it right there. Did you pay admission when you came in? Oh, I got you good, didn't I? A little security joke at it all. Always good to meet another agent of Lady Justice, Detective. What can I do for you? I'm hoping you can assist in my investigation. Oh, absolutely. Anything you need at the drop of a hat. Just by answering a few questions for now, I need to be clear that even the museum guard, you aren't exonerated here. Of course, of course. I wouldn't have it any other way. Not only am I loyal to the law, I'm loyal to this museum, and the wrongs against it must be righted. Start with a few questions, if you wouldn't mind. Who are you? Not much to brag about in that department, Detective. Well, what do you do in your free time? I like to keep up with various TV shows and movies, but don't we all? That's not very interesting. I read a whole bunch too. Talk about boring. I don't think that's boring. Honestly, I wish I had the time for more of that kind of thing. I used to say the same thing, believe it or not, but if you don't make time to enjoy things, there won't be much of you left. Just a couple of whiskers in a suit. I mean, let's stay on topic. Do you have any family, friends? A couple of buddies from work, from back in the day, but started to feel like we're worlds apart, you know? A wife at home, but no kids. She has a great friends, long-time friends. They call me friends. I'm alright with that. I understand. Let's continue. Yes, absolutely. I'm an open book. I'm full of pictures. I keep peace within these marble walls, a much more manageable scale than I'm sure you deal with, Detective. On the regular, sure, but for tonight, we have that in common. You got that right. As far as my day-to-day is concerned, we don't really get much commotion around here. Was the time when terms were more typical? No, I guess not. But we had more people around overall, you see. If all else fails, maybe this whole debacle will get the museum some attention again. That'd be really something, huh? Suppose anything's possible. Why don't we discuss something else? Absolutely. I'm an open book. I'm full of pictures. What did you do before? I worked as a policeman for a while, but not as long as expected at the time. Young for retirement, sure, but not that young. Most folks stay in the field for a long time. Wasn't for me, though. I grew up with police dramas and was big enough to deal with bullies, but the concept of bullies is a bit more difficult when you're an adult. Nail on the head, Detective. Don't get me wrong. There were times when it was very clear, just not always. Even instances that were clear in the beginning became murky down the road, or in retrospect. Eventually, parting ways with the force seemed like the best decision. I came to that conclusion sometime later. By that you mean it wasn't entirely your choice? Highly encouraged choice, perhaps. A tale that isn't too uncommon, I think. About today's events. What were you doing? Per usual, I was hanging around the foyer, having a little chat with the curator. When things are especially slow, I might take a walk around the exhibits or get some fresh air, but I was feeling a little more lazy today. That doesn't sound too good, does it? I don't want you thinking I neglect my duties. The thing is, nothing seemed weird. It was totally normal morning, afternoon, and evening. I understand, so none of the guests acted strangely? We get all walks of life, and I do my best not to judge one way or another. So now, not so much, and all things considered, this feels like poor circumstance to me, Detective. I see. Interesting. Why don't we discuss some more then? Absolutely. I'm an open book full of pictures. What happened? Oh dear, where do I begin? The curator and I heard an argument upstairs. I was ready to go defuse the situation, but the curator was hoping it would solve itself. I don't quite understand it, but in my experience, artists tend to hold strong opinions, so I trusted the curator's judgment to call for a moment. But I made my way to the courtyard when it heated up. The fight was upstairs though, so I just had to keep moving through. A few moments later, a gunshot shattered glass soon after. I didn't skip a beat. Some habits die hard, I guess. Well, I got to the antiques. I found the guide, stopped in her tracks. Maybe I should have kept moving, but to make sure she was okay. It's admirable, at the very least. I'm sure she appreciated it. You're probably right, but there wasn't actually much help. Nothing I could say had her come to. I called for the curator, since there was still the matter of whatever went down in natural history. I got there about the same time as the podcaster, but she knew just as much as I did, and that wasn't much. The display case was already destroyed, so to save the diamond or the victim, I was too slow again. If there was anything left to do, it was call the police. Thankfully, the creator was already on the line, and things had mostly calmed down by then. I appreciate the thorough recollection. Let's move on to something else. Oh yeah, well, you see, the amazing thing is that it's real smart. It can tell who's who and do what it's got to do. Real accurate too. Certainly, there's some downside to it, no? Nail on the head, Detective. When it was installed, they told us it was a little slow. Doesn't make mistakes because for a computer, it takes its time. Although for a person like you and me, that's still pretty dang fast. It just has to, I don't know, double check, I guess. It has a way of being selective, only locking down what's necessary and trying to minimize panic in a chaotic situation. Come to think of it, the actual sound of the alarm was supposed to be the one of the more severe stages of lockdown. The old guy who used to work on it could tell you more, but we've never seen it in action before today. Maybe try asking the curator. I think I will, but until then I have a few other things to discuss. No, that's it, actually. Maybe I should ask the curator about the alarm again. Nope. I don't think that's anything. Okay, let's have a look. Okay. Okay, right. Z, what have we got here? The artist? Whoa. I see. Okay, so everything there seems to line up. Okay. Murder guest. Begin with the actual crime scene. Meeting our suspects. Right. There's like so much going on here. Okay, let's go through here first. Alright, this definitely seems to be the epicenter of our case. Looks like the victim there, lying on their back just south of the destroyed display stands. In that middle of the room, several dotted blood splattered across the floor along with a few pieces of what appears to be stone debris. Although our works look to be unaffected and a witness at the scene, no shortage of places to start. Let's get a look. There's the suspect. I kind of want to talk to the witness first. The podcaster. Hiya, detective. I just want to say it's like so awesome to meet a real, almost somewhat famous Feline investigator in person. Oh, and I absolutely cannot wait to tell you all about my show. Would you want to do an interview? I'm sorry, your show? It's a true crime podcaster. It's called Tales of the Dark and Desperate. And this episode is all about to go hella viral. What are you recording right now? No, I didn't bring my equipment. Ugh. An absolute rookie mistake. Like 5 listeners, an episode level amateur. By the way, you should seriously subscribe. You have your phone on you, right? Just let me look myself up and hit the button real quick. No big deal. I actually don't keep a mobile phone on me. Personal technology would be a distraction at the crime scene. Oof, that's actually so sad. Okay, we have things to discuss. Let's stay on topic, please. Like, whatever you need, detective. Totally. Who are you? Oh, come on, detective. I told you about my podcast. Are you saying you didn't go and read my bio? If you're not a big reader, watch my daily vlog. Then I'll give you the general vibe. Well, it was going to be daily, then it was weekly, and now I just kind of post whenever. The last one is pretty old, so it'll be out of date. But apologies, but I'm not going to watch your vlog. So please, if you could provide a brief answer to the question, that would be appreciated. Ugh, rude. The least you could do is submit your question to my word vlog. You can do it anonymously if you want. I'm sorry, but this isn't a vlog, just a video blog. So a word vlog is a normal vlog. Actually, never mind. I've earned plenty. Let's change topics. I have a true crime podcast for the tales of the dark and desperate, so make sure you totally obliterate that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Wait, haven't I told you about this already, detective? You have. I was asking more about what you do in professional sense. Are you trying to say that what I do isn't professional enough? Gotcha. Oof, too easy, detective. I work at a coffee shop, but that's like so boring. Punch in, punch out. You know how it is. But after this episode really pops off, I'm gonna quit so fast. At least like quiet quit. I still need health insurance or whatever. Of course. Why don't we talk about something else? You're quite a passionate interest. Why is that? Oh, I know a trick question when I hear one. Detective, of course, I love crime solving. Crime solving? Do you have a background in criminology? Sounds like a question I can only answer behind the paywall. Did you know you can unlock great perks like this on my Patreon? That won't be necessary. By the long port of the law, let's just stay on topic. You know, true crime is so trendy. So that was a good start. But then I don't know, it was genuinely fascinating. In all honesty, I'm pretty normal and my life has been like pretty easy. There's people out there that definitely have not had it easy. Trying to step into the shoes of a criminal is one thing, but the different thing about everyone else around them, that's different. It's just easy to think this wouldn't happen to me until it does. True crime lets you really reflect on unrealistic situations that are very real. That's really quite insightful. If you want to know more, make sure to wickedly whack that follow. What were you doing? I was mostly just wandering around when I got to the courtyard. I saw the tourist that had this dope retro camera. We were just kind of going back and forth on old school photography techniques. Stuff like that was a huge on Finstagram a couple of years ago. Then we got interrupted by that argument. He handed me the camera while he tried to break it up from down here, but they weren't interested in listening. I see. I assume you gave the camera back to him at some point, yes? Oh yeah, for sure, but not right away because the thing's really getting out of control. Oh, in that case, I've got a couple more questions for you. What happened? Oh my gosh. I remember it so vividly. If only I was recording. My audience really likes authentic audio. Ugh, that gunshot would get me so many upvotes. Blammo. That's when things really popped off, you know? I couldn't really see much up there though, and when the guard ran through, he and the tourists were so frantically scattered, I like pretty much tuned them out. Besides, we all heard glass break in the next room over. I needed to get a first-hand account of things. Fame isn't for the fawn-haunted, detective. I ran for the courtyard and saw the punk lying there. It seemed like he fell from the balcony. I rushed over to check on him, but he was so dead. And what of the diamond? It was already gone. I explained that to the guard when he came in. Then I guess he went off to go search for it someplace else. I figured with the alarm going off, I wouldn't be able to leave anyway, so I just sat tight and waited in here. Okay. At the guard, he said you both entered the exhibit simultaneously, but this contradicts your testimony. Why the inconsistency? I don't know what you want me to say, detective. I told you everything I know already. I came in, saw the diamond was gone, took a quick look over the body, and the guard came running in after. If I was gonna lie, wouldn't it make more sense for me to agree with the guard to admit I'm admitting to having no witness? I suppose you're right. So the diamond really was missing when you arrived? Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll have some different questions instead. So I kind of agree there. I kind of think that the guard must be lying, because why would she lie about being here with no witnesses? But he's kind of given himself an alibi. I could give him the benefit of the doubt, but by the podcaster's account, this just doesn't line up. I can't think of an obvious reason why he would lie, but it's best if I ask him directly. I think I'm gonna go do that now. Can you walk over the body? No. Okay. I was gonna say, that's pretty sick if you can. About today's events, about the podcaster. You saw her in the natural history exhibits. Did you suspect that she could have stolen it then? Initially I did, yes, but she was so quick to explain herself, and it all made sense to me. Told me she'd come from the courtyard just a moment prior in response to the sound of breaking glass and a loud thud. That would have been the gemstone being stolen and the victim falling from above. Considering the timeline, there wasn't much she could have gotten up to. I hate to break it to you, but she did have a few moments before you arrived. Not enough to steal the jewel, of course, but she did steal the victim's belongings. Oh no, you don't say. Oh man, I knew I should have been more strict with her. I'm just so concerned with calling the police and getting things under control. Well, your motives were understandable. This could have been avoided with a bit more diligence. Yeah, sounds familiar, detective. I'm sorry about that, and thankfully you're setting things right. Working on it at least. Let's run through a few more questions, shall we? Yes, thank you so much for your lurk. Again, you're Delilah. I appreciate you. Let's have a look at the body. Ugh. This has always been my least favourite part of the job. Victim presents male, likely mid-20s in age, 4 facial piercings and wearing a leather jacket. Initial signs show 2 impact wounds to the back of the head, all things considered minimal blood loss. And nothing on his person, no wallet, no keys, not even an ID. Poor guy, I'll figure out what happened here, don't worry. This is the pedestal where the stolen gemstone was once displayed. What should I investigate here? The exhibit placard. Optimist Diamond, Circa 1700. Where could this be hiding precious little gemstone? Hang on, I'm not done yet. The broken case. Seems like a classic smash and grab. There are stones strewn across the floor, so it's possible the thief used them to break the glass case. I'll put this statue chunk into evidence just in case I can learn anything from looking over it. It doesn't seem like there's any other incriminating details here, though. Never that easy anymore, is it? Okay, let's have a look. Is the podcaster? There's something I haven't learned about the podcaster, isn't there? Do I need to talk to you again? Hi there, detective. Additional details about the victim. You mentioned he'd already fallen from the balcony above. Did you get any closer examination than that? Why'd you ask? Thing is, he didn't have anything on him. Not even a wallet. No ID. Doesn't that seem strange to you? Oh, detective, that's because I gathered them for you ahead of time, so you wouldn't miss anything. Is that so? Tampering with a crime scene can be serious offence, you know. But it wasn't tampering, it was assisting. I know about standing procedures. I just went ahead and did it for you. That's all it was, huh? Lying to an authority of the law is also quite an offence. Okay. I took his stuff because it would have been an amazing promo material. You can't blame me for trying to fabricate a viral sensation, detective. And besides, what if he had been stabbed and I need to stop the bleeding? That logic doesn't even... You know what? I've got other things to discuss with you and then I'll be on my way. Okay. There's still more we don't know yet about her, but I'm sure we'll piece that together. Yeah, I don't have that yet. And we need to go for... Yeah, the leads I'll come back to. I want to look at the evidence that we just gathered. What's that? What is that? Oh, of course, I knew there was something else here. While it may have broken further in the fall, it was certainly destroyed prior. Assuming at least that this is the flattening tip of some sort of ammunition. I wonder where the casing is hidden. Finding that could help me track down the murder weapon. Okay. Is this what the meds look like? Has she given us a leaflet about her thing? Podcast? Of course, I knew there was something else here. The receipt. Why would he have paid twice? As far as I'm aware, he didn't come with anyone, right? Since I can't question him directly, I'll have to ask around some. Okay. He handed the victim alone. But evidence suggests that he came with someone else. See, that makes sense. As far as I can tell, he did end up alone, but with one extra detail, he paid for enough missions for 2. Anyone would assume this is an act of kindness, but we can claim that for certain. I think we need to go and ask the curator. Because the curator is who they pay the admissions to, right? Like today's events before. Yes. About admission. Specifically, that was paid by the victim earlier tonight. He was charged for 2 entrants. Was he accompanied by anyone? No, he wasn't. That's when I started to suspect he was up to no good, and I was correct, of course. Why would he have paid for 2? I hope this wasn't malicious on your part. It was no mistake. When I told him there was a charge for admittance, he said he would pay for himself and whoever comes in next, that's all. Just to clarify, he didn't know there was a cost to enter, but he was willing to pay for 2. I didn't think much of it, Detective. It seemed to surprise him, so perhaps he didn't want that to happen to someone else. Did it betray my initial impressions of his character? Sure. But he confirmed them soon after with all this mess he caused. It seemed that way, but we can never be so sure. By chance, do you remember who came in next? That nervous one with the backpack. I tried to explain the situation to him, but with all that stammering, I don't think he heard any of it. Intriguing. Why don't we move on from here? I have an additional question to ask about the alarm. The state of the art, awarded on a grant several years ago. It runs through every wall, door, and exhibit. A bit Orwellian, but I do what I must. It took a long time to amass such a wondrous collection, so I'd like to keep it. I don't see any cameras though. How does it work? That's the beauty of it. It's entirely invisible, reading paw prints on the surface of display stands, glass, and frames. And it recognizes registered users. So if I were to rearrange the exhibits, I wouldn't have to worry about disabling the entire system. Of course, the rest of my staff is also registered. Conservators, appraisers, or technicians get temporarily registered as needed. The guard mentioned discretionary response system. Do you know anything about that? Vaguely. For instance, putting the doors on lockdown is an early stage response, whereas that atrocious sound is much later. I know that much. I see. So if someone stole an exhibit, a noisy alarm would alert everyone, warning the thief that their cover was blown. Of course, if the thief broke into an exhibit to steal it, they would have already relinquished the advantage of discretion. In that case, the alarm siren acts more like a warning system to the other guests. I'm starting to see this intelligence you mentioned. Yes, well, I hope it makes closing this case easier for you. Easier and quicker. Easier, perhaps. Quicker, I'm not so sure. I think it's time to reshape my steps towards that broken display again. Before I do, though, I have some more questions. Okay, so... nothing between them. And I've learnt some new things. Let's have a look at the display again, then. Pedestal with gem on display. What should I investigate the broken case? I have more information about the museum's security system now. I should probably take a second pass at this. Although I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, this could open a whole new can of sardines. There are several things that need tending to. Let's tie a couple of those threads and come back. Okay. I need to finish meeting everyone is another one. There's 2 people here, okay? The old timer. Hello? Yes, hello, I'm the... Yeah, I know who you are. Fantastic, then let's get started. Well, I'm waiting on you. Get started. Then I'll finally get to go home. Standing on these floors is killer for an old timer. Sit down then. What do you want about? There's a bench just over there if you... I don't need a seat. You think I need some handout from you? Do you know who I am? I didn't mean to offend. I just... Look, detective, get to the interrogation or whatever you have to do so I can get out of here. Fine. Yes, wonderful idea. Let's just do that. How much longer is this going to take? Some kind of interview? Who are you? You really have to ask, huh? Tells me everything I need to know about you, detective. Well, in this case, I am the one who needs to know. So why don't you answer the question anyway? I'm a retiree of the art world, from back when folks respected the craft. I saw success beyond my wildest dreams. I was in galleries, exhibitions, auctions for rates higher than you or your kittens would see in an entire lifetime. Point is, I was at the top. I wasn't making my way for nobody. You had to be cutthroat back then. Don't even get me started on all this crowdfunding. Sir, I don't think, for what reason did you step down from such a high pedestal? Couldn't keep up. Is that what you want to hear? My hand started going first, then I quit while I was ahead. I see. Well, let's change the topic. How much longer is this going to take? What do you do? Are you one of them half-rate gumshoe detectives? That's an offense to... In my advanced age, I don't do much of anything, and with my advanced wealth, I don't have to. That's what it means to be retired, not that you would know. I might do some consulting from time to time or attend an event, but all that chasing tail, that's for the young pups. After everything I've given to the art world, I keep on giving. What do you think about that, huh? Good for you. You wouldn't get it, so maybe start asking some questions with answers you can actually use. What a fantastic idea. Let's just do that. What about it? Despite a few amateur missteps, it's a respectable institution. What would you consider a misstep? Don't get me started on how much modern garbage they have on display these days. I understand art can't be entirely without business, but there are lines you just don't cross. Betraying the greats by hanging their most prestigious pieces next to these finger paintings that cross the line. We should play Uno, all of us, together one day. Well, we could play Uno, you know, if we got to the Discord game night. That would be, like, a good one. I really enjoy Uno. I think Uno would be good. You can get it, like, on Steam and things. And, who owns it? Like, I know... But, like, I've played it before online, and it is really good. But Uno would be fun. But that's a great idea for game night, Panda. Did you ever have any of your pieces on display here in the museum? That's a leading question, detective. Don't believe for a second I don't see what you're trying to do. If you must know, even at my peak, no, the curator refused to exhibit any of my works. I had plenty of other exhibitions, and we've always been on good terms. I don't hold it against them. So don't leave this conversation thinking I've got some sort of vendetta. That would be a ridiculous notion, wouldn't it? Maybe I should ask a different question instead. Am I outspoken, detective? Are you answering my question with a question? The answer is no. I am resolute, firm in my opinion, because I know they are correct. Peeks in, Uno? Yeah, Panda wants to play Uno. I can get it on mobile too. Yeah, that'd be so much fun. I would definitely love to play Uno. I still have yet to see how this ants... There I was with the critic. We were looking over the various pieces in the sculpture gallery. The critic wanted to discuss with the guide, so I let them be. Made my way upstairs into the fine art. That's when I saw him. All these disgraceful misuses of canvas and the punk that followed soon after looking for a fight. He must have seen me wrinkle my nose at some painting, and well, he didn't know what tree he was barking up. What tree was that? An old wizened willow, detective. One that weeps for the way things used to be. Intriguing, to say the least. I believe I have some more questions then. What actually happened? Of course, I remember it like it was yesterday, because it was today. Gotcha, didn't I, detective? In fact, it was about an hour ago. How could I forget that? I'm old, but I ain't that old. The punk wanted to yank my tail, but when I barked back, he must have got scared, pull a gun on me. always knew I had some bite left, and we got into a real scuffle, took out onto the courtyard balcony. He threw me into the wall. I swung back at him. He tried to take me out, but his aim was bad. Missed by a mile. Must have been new to it too. The kickbacks gave me a chance to disarm him, then he ran off. The critic came to check on me soon after. I told him I was fine, unscathed in fact. Then the alarm went off. I didn't have anything to do with that. Well, didn't he have gunshots in the back of his head? So I don't think that's true. I was glad you're alright. Let's just get something else. How much longer is this going to take? Yeah, I think I need to exit out of this, and I need to, like, connect the pieces that he had gunshots in the back of his head. Because that is evidence. That is fact. He had gunshots in the back of his head. The old timer. Can I not correct that? Because didn't he definitely have gunshots in the back of his head? Let me go back quickly and check. I am so sure that he had gunshots in the back of his head. Yeah, 2 impact wounds on the back of his head, no belongings left on a person. But I can't tell the guy that he fell off. Maybe they're saying like it wasn't him that shot him. Okay. Let me go back up and talk with the other one here. The critic. I say, what matter of drab fashion is approaching me? I'm the detective sent to investigate this series of unfortunate incidents. Heavens, you should speak to your department about acquiring better uniforms. This is not a uniform, it's just one of my suits. Are you to imply that these are your actual clothes that you purchased with money, willingly? I'd appreciate if we get to questioning now, please. Oh, relax. I'm a bit of a critic, but I'll do my best not to get in your way. I'll likely take a few jabs at you, though. How could I not with those shoulder pads? What? But no, seriously, I am on your side here. Don't worry about it. You know, let's just get started. Usually I charge for this sort of service. I'm a collector, a connoisseur. Some would call me a cultural innovator. But that title is just far too garish, even if it is entirely true. And this is what brought you to the museum today? There are wonderful pieces here that I would love to call my own, but no, I'm not making any purchases. My accountant wouldn't like that very much. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the exhibits at a museum aren't usually for sale. Spoken like a true member of the middle class. Everything is for sale when you have enough money. Am I to assume this applies to you? I've written for the most prestigious organizations. These scales have rubbed against the best of them. You should consider yourself blessed. I am not more offended that you would even ask who I am. Then why don't I ask you a different question instead? If you must, don't let me stop you. Traditional family? No, but I have some close to me, if that's what you mean. Would you not consider them family? I would, but that partnership was founded in a different time. And unfortunately, there are still many similarities between now and then. Besides, when you've become larger than yourself and people believe you are only how they sculpted you, there's a lot to lose if you betray their perception. If I am to interpret your meaning, isn't the artistic industry quite progressive? For an artist at his easel, yes. For a writer at a typewriter, yes. For a musician with their instrument, yes. But for any of them with the need to live, to eat, to succeed, they must be ruled by money. And the people with money far above even my station do not understand the meaning of progress. So no, I suppose I don't have much family. Most of us can't afford to. I'm sorry to hear that. Would you mind if I asked another question? Are we getting a hidden gay relationship with the critic because of wealth? That is so... I love it. Like, that is such like a nitty-gritty thing to add into the game, that like the critic can't be with the person. Well, he is with the person he loves, but not publicly because of wealth, and that the artistry industry is progressive, but not for a critic. Not for those who have mass amounts of wealth. You must fit in with them. It's such a niche little thing to add in that I love. If you must, don't let me stop you. Why did you decide to visit it today? Oh, the curator practically begged me to come and write it in one of my columns. I visited before many years ago, and the article I wrote back then was unbelievable success. Although considering the terrible fate before us, I don't know that anything I write will speak highly enough. You mean the murderer turned museum heist? Is that it? No, detective, I'm talking about irrelevancy. And worse yet, the curator has resorted to committing the cardinal sin, the display of counterfeit art. It's just painful. What do you mean? That would be quite the accusation. They're duplicates. Simple as that. How could one acquire such a diverse catalogue? In fact, I've already noticed two, and well, when there's two, there must be a third. That's just proper writing, detective. Right, well, let's carry on then. If you must. See, I feel like the curator's done this because of, like, they want a scandal to get the museum public again. Like, you're telling me you've begged the critic to come in, the old-timer, like, art, like, he was not a critic, was he? He was, I forget what he was called. But, like, you're telling me all these high-profile, the podcaster, the true crime podcaster, all just happened to be here on the same day? No. And I think that the punk was expecting to get in for free because he was working with the curator. I don't know if the detective, the security guard was involved, but I feel like it was definitely the curator hired the punk and it went wrong. And then, or like it went, whether the heist was planned or not, I don't know, but the murder probably wasn't planned. Something was planned and it went wrong. So then they stole the gem to, you know, make it look like a heist. And I think it was probably broken because the fingerprints of the curator wouldn't have triggered the alarm. So they broke it so that it would set the alarm off. That's my theory. So far. I'll give you this one for free, detective. As a museum, I'm taking my jolly good time looking over many exhibits alongside the old-timer. When we made our way into the sculpture gallery, I decided to strike up a conversation with the guide, of course. Couldn't resist an expert discussion. The old-timer has far less patience for this sort of gallivanting, so he took off upstairs. Perhaps I shouldn't have let him go off on his own. I don't know what it was that they argued about, but it must have struck a nerve. I think that's when our evening started to go south. That's so. There isn't much for me to say on this topic, but I suppose it began with the old-timer's argument upstairs. It sounded like he was in the fine art gallery, and I started moving that way, but when I was just about to get there, I heard a blunt slam. I'd hoped that the argument didn't turn violent, but I was quickly losing faith in that theory. Before I knew it, there was a wretched bang. A gunshot, the glass shattering not long after. I was concerned for the well-being of the old-timer. The old-timer cleanly worn out, and he was breathing heavily, and had a couple of scrapes, but he seemed okay. I shoved him back into the fine art gallery and tried to ignore the rest of the cacophony below. It calmed down soon after, and now you're here. Yes, here I am. Why don't we continue investigating, shall we? I've taken down both of your testimonies, but there's a specific detail that doesn't line up. The old-timer claimed he came away from the brawl entirely unscathed, but that's not accurate to your remarks. Why? This might be the easiest explanation with you, detective. You received today, detective. Are you familiar with fragile masculinity? We've known each other for a long, long time, and when I say he's improved, I mean it, but there are still things that get under his fur. Whether this helps or hinders your perception of his motives, I doubt he even second-guessed a lie like that. You speak as if you know him quite well. Intimately, some would say. Is that his partner? Are they dating? Are they dating? I could see it, you know. The critic. Ah, I see. That makes sense. So, no surprise the old-timer would want to keep up his manly image. But as we can tell from the critic told us, even the old-timer was a little shaken following his bouts with the punk. Do I have anything else I can... Nope, that's the only thing. Okay, what if I go this way? Actually, I don't want to go this way. I want to go this way. Top. Okay. Who are you? The artist? Greetings. Hello, I'm the detective tending to this case. I'm aware of this. You're from Feline Forensics. Yes, I am. Good, you're familiar. Do you mind? You may. Ask me a few questions, that is. First of all, how did you get to know me? Was it the tie? Try to go something with normal, neutral, professional, insightful even. Maybe it's my suit. The shoulders are very padded. Is it the suit? Too private eye? It's not the tie, detective. So, it was the suit. It was also not the suit. I'm just aware of you, generally speaking. Good marketing, perhaps. And besides, I simply prefer to be aware. An artist must observe the world. I hope that proves useful. Let's begin. Whatever it takes, detective. I regret to inform you, detective, who I am is not important. I am unimportant. In the grand scheme of things, as it pertains to the situation around us, though details will not bring you any closer to the case closed. Then why don't you shoo me? As if I were asking a stranger, not the detective. I'm a washed-up failure of a creative amphibian. As soon as I had my hand, my parents couldn't keep their paper in the house. I hoard every mark and paint I could find, play with my best friend. My imagination was insatiable, so I didn't have time for anyone or anything else. That doesn't sound like a failure to me. Insatiable may beget experience, but it does not equate to talent. It is a sufficient answer, detective. Indeed, I hope you don't mind answering some other questions. What do you do? Since my art career became an artifact of the past, I found myself in several professions. Nowadays, I work under a contract agency. They have me doing temporary work placements. Many placements are undesirable, unfortunately, but it pays the bills, and I can keep a fair bit of time for myself. You still create art in that time? Yes. I don't believe I could ever truly give it up, but inspiration strikes less frequent. That's why I've decided to come to the museum today. Did you find something inspiring? I believe I have, but time will tell. The paint must dry, as they say. They do say that, don't they? On to the next question. About all that paint. I'm sure you're aware, but why are you so covered in it? It's my favourite coat. Are you suggesting that just because I got some paint on it that I suddenly means I can no longer be a coat? It was a bit cold today. I needed to wear a coat. I am not warm-blooded, detective. Do you want me to be cold? I didn't say that, no. Besides, it makes the coat more unique. No one in the world has a coat but me. I could see the allure in something like that. Would you strive to stand out? I think most people do, myself included, and yeah, I frequently feel invisible. It's as if people just don't see me, even if I'm standing right there. What is this supposed to mean? I don't like that. This makes you sound suspicious, like you were there when something was happening. Makes me feel quite lonely, to say the least. Forgotten. My apologies. I believe I've strayed from your inquiry. Don't worry about it. Not at all. Shall we discuss another topic? I don't need this. No, I do need to talk to you still. Remember them well. I hate to break it to you, but my prior behaviour has little impact to the case. I was just wandering around the various exhibits, observing. Specifically, I was counting the bones of those hanging skeletons on the natural history exhibit's balcony. Then again, I did spend some time on the courtyard balcony as well, memorised by the pendulum's colourful sway. Considering my proximity to the fine art gallery, I overheard the arguments that began. I departed to the upper floor. I've got that all written down now, so thank you. Whatever it takes, detective. So, did he hear the argument? Certainly. It began with the argument. I was nearby and didn't want to get involved. By the time I had made it to the lower courtyard, I heard the gunshot. Naturally, I attempted to make my way out of the museum entirely, but the guard came hastily through the door and bumped into me. I eventually, though, made my way to the foyer. Unfortunately, the door was already locked down. I imagine it was a result of the alarm being tripped. The museum has a sophisticated security system, it seems. There wasn't anyone else around? Initially, no. When the tourist arrived from behind me, I told him we were stuck. Even when the curator came back, they refused to open the door. The tourist passionately opposed their decision, but eventually stood down. We waited in our retrospective exhibits until you arrived. Thank you for the detailed recount. Let's discuss something else. About the guard. When I collected his witness testimony, he neglected to mention anything about bumping into you in the courtyard. That does not surprise me, detective. Don't you remember what I said before? Even with all this paint, people just don't see me. You did say that. I suppose I didn't quite grasp the severity of it. That's not uncommon either. I assure you, if any doubts about my honesty in this situation, I can present my perspective in greater detail. I don't think that would be necessary. Your testimony is entirely plausible, especially considering the frantic nature of tonight's events. I think I'll move on to other inquiries for now. Okay. I know it's like the bear lied, like the guard has lied a lot, but I really, really don't think that the bear is the culprit or anything to do with it. I genuinely think he's just like this naive, like happy to be here, really cares about the museum, and hasn't realised that the curator has gone corrupt. The guard didn't move straight through the courtyard. He bumped into the artist on the way. That might seem minor. The most minor details can turn the entire case upside down. Is there anyone else in here? Nope. Here's the courtyard. The tourist. Howdy, Detective Rooney. Hey, Duty. Please call me detective. I'm the investigator on this case. How are you holding up with all the commotion? Just tippy-topper, copper. Little worried about getting behind on my itinerary, but I'll survive. An itinerary? Are you on vacation? You ding-dang bet I am. A nice long trip, like I always wanted to. Just wasn't in the dealer's deck until recent. Call me a regular tourist because I know you got a plan every stop. You know what they be saying, detective? Failing to plan is like planning to have a good time getting lost. I think we should get to the topic at hand, don't you? Righty-o. Don't hold back. I've gone by a lot of names, detective, but what you see is what you get. Just an old free spirit flying through the back half of life. That sounds quite nice, actually. Are you flying with any family? Oh, you really are good at this, huh? Yeah, always know what to ask. Of course I've got family. A little brother and his sty of piglets. Dear me, does their mother have her hooves full with them? She's practically a sister to me too. You said they're travelling. Is it difficult to be away from them? It stings the soul, that's for sure, but I tried to send a postcard every couple of days, and I've collected far too many souvenirs for them. When our pop would go out on business trips, he'd always bring back little bubbles back with him. So, you know, I gotta keep the tradition alive. I'm sure the kids love that too. Let's move on to something else. Nowadays, not much. I'll do some odd jobs when I get back from this big old vacation, but past that, no more grind for me. That's a fortunate position to find yourself in. How'd you manage that? That's a tough one, detective. Long story short, my pops went into some particular business, at least until he died. I was a teenager then, and my brother was even younger, so fending for ourselves wasn't much an option. Luckily, Pop's work buddies took us in. When he got a bit older, I took over the operation he left behind. A decade later, we landed a pretty profitable contract, and the rest is history. I see. Did your brother follow along as well? Muddy heavens, no. In fact, that's what kept my eye on the truffle. I didn't want him to get involved. Admirable. Why don't we talk about something else? Did he just confess to a crime? Doesn't sound like he was doing anything legit. Now that's a story. I bet you don't want me to spare the tiniest detail. Don't be afraid to abridge slightly if necessary. I'm just yanking your tail. The thing is, there's not much to say. I was a poor piglet told to pick himself up by his bootstraps. I don't even wear boots. All told, I worked hard, but it was a couple lucky decisions and better company, right places and left times, you know? I'm nothing if not a storyteller, and a good one at that, but I wouldn't want to put you into a catnap with the details, detective. No manage of details will be enough to distract from the fact that you refused to answer the question. Or did you truly think I wouldn't realise? Look, Whiskers, simply put, some of those crowds weren't the most savoury, but folks with deep pockets. Pops put us into some circumstances, then went off and oinked. Forced me into decisions I don't like having to make. All that's important now is, well, I got more curls in my tail these days. Wouldn't make the choices again if I had to. I won't press the issue, but I hope I understand that if I have reason to suspect it's relevant, I won't have much choice. Oh, I get it. Don't sound so stern, detective. If you think I'm running from something or into another, rest assured, the worst of it already comes with me everywhere. I understand. Let's change topics then. What were you doing? Let me tell you, much of the same as I'm doing right now. Standing on my own two hooves, gazing at these colours. At least until the podcasters came through and started asking about my camera. They called it such an old school vibe. What about, was she interested in? I don't know, she was mighty excited. I let her look it over because I didn't see much harm in there. Took my eye off it when the argument upstairs started becoming an issue, and she didn't seem shady or nothing. That's when things really started to kick off. Oops, took another screenshot. That's so. Whole lot if you ask me. Well, I guess you are asking me, aren't you? But much of it, what I wasn't privy to. Those two upstairs were in a bit of a brawl, and one of them shot a gun. Instinctually, I stepped in front of the podcaster, but luckily I don't think anyone actually got hit. That was when we heard some glass smash in the other room, and the museum's alarm start blaring. Don't think this sort of thing could still rile me up, but at that moment I must have been sweating from something fierce, like someone splashed my back with a pail of water. I tried to tell the gal to save her own fur, but I don't know, maybe she was more invested than she let on. I wasn't going to carry her out. When I got to the foyer, the artist was already arguing with the curator about letting us out. I guess the alarm put everything on total lockdown, but I don't blame a single feather on them. They didn't know what was what. They just told us to stand by and wait for the police. Not my favourite gang to deal with, but I sat tight, and that's all the she wrote. Get your camera. Oh, this old thing. It's been my trusty companion for ages. Been through some bumps and bruises, but nothing a good buff can't fix. Had a hardy crash today, didn't we, buddy? You didn't mention that in your testimony. What happened? Didn't I tell you? I let the podcaster take a look at it over, right? When everything started to go sideways, the gunshot probably spooked when she dropped it. A real clatter too. The biggest of the day, maybe. I don't want to ignore the obvious issue here, so why do you have a camera in here anyway? Surely museum policies would forbid it. Oh, don't worry, detective. I had it all cleared with the curator. They said it was fine as long as I didn't take any photos. There isn't even any film in here. Guess that makes sense. I would have a few more talking points if you wouldn't mind. Do I have anything new because of that? I don't think so. The student and the guide I've still got to meet. There's surely people out here though. No sense in leaving any stone unturned, or shrub in this case. Gotta reach a paw in and rustle some leaves. Oh, what's this? Something perched between these branches. Cold and it feels like metal? Could it be what I think it is? Yes, it's the casing to match the tip from earlier. I'll have to update the evidence records now that I have both pieces of this bullet. However, the question remains, where's the weapon that fired it? Okay. What's this over here? Let's tell me to look at. As you expect, I'm a big fan of water, but if my suspicions are correct, I need to do what needs to be done. Pour into the fountain, detective. Here goes nothing. Oh dear, it's cold. I'm very wet. Ugh, my fur is going to be uncomfortable for the rest of the evening. Aha, there it is. The murder weapon. A smoking, dripping gun. It was likely fired during the brawl upstairs and dropped soon after. I'll have to look it over to gather more information and start questioning the various suspects about it too. This is really odd because you can turn it multiple times, but you can't hold the button and turn it. If that makes sense, you have to like move it slowly. I'm looking to see if there's like, I don't know, like writing on it, I guess. Is there anything on it? Where am I supposed to be looking here? I'm so confused by the gun. Caught on film is another one that I'm like... I don't know. I need to look at the gun, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for. I really just don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for here. Okay, we'll come back to it. I want to go and talk to the podcaster quickly about dropping the camera. About the camera? Oh, you mean the tourist camera? Oh, that thing was so nice. I should have got a full one, but they're so vogue right now. Yes, that one. You mentioned looking over it. Did you notice if it had any film? Oh, it must have. Didn't I tell you what happened when I dropped it before? Neither of you mentioned dropping the camera. No. Whoops, silly me. Well, you remember the gunshot, right? Blammo and all that. That didn't bother me at all, I guess. But then with the glass shattering, the alarm went off. That's what got me. And the noise made me jump and boop. That was when the camera just dropped right out of my little hands. When it hit the floor, there was this big flash, so it probably took some sort of photo. Of course, when I got it back to him all in one piece, before you even noticed, everything afterwards was pretty much the same as I told you. There's certainly an interesting wrinkle. I may have a few other inquiries to make before I continue investigating. Like, whatever you need, detective. So, I need to go and ask about the camera. Because he lied to me about having film in it. About your camera. You must have been over that already, detective. I don't know what to say. There's one particular detail that I think we should go over again. You weren't using the camera at all tonight. There ain't even any film in here. Then how come, according to podcast, so the camera's flash went off when she dropped it? Take a beginner's photography course. Just because the flash goes off doesn't mean it actually took a photo, detective. But if you're so confident in your theory, then how about you check it out yourself? You can take my camera as evidence as long as it can get it back. It's empty or see full of sentimental value. I'll take a note to return it, but the case is closed unless, of course, I discover something incriminating. And that should tell you just how much I trust you to do the right thing, detective. Here you go. Appreciate your cooperation. Now, could I get your input on some other topics? Okay, let's have a look at the camera. How do I like to see if there's real in it or whatever? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something, like on how I'm supposed to interact, enter, confirm. No. Okay, there's no one else here. Let's talk to these again, just in case I'm missing anything. There is something. Before. Yes. About the camera. What camera? Discussing tonight's events with the tourist on the topic of his camera road. Did you not notice he had it on him when he arrived? I absolutely did not. I'm sure you understand, detective, that recording of any kind within the museum is strictly against policy. Why would guests come visit if they can observe a rudimentary family scale someplace else? I had a hunch that what you would say, but it might reveal some important evidence, so I'm going to entertain the prospect for now. I suppose it's a minor concern at the moment. I agree. Let's discuss more important concerns then. But nothing less. About the critic. You said you had requested an article be written. Could you tell me more about that? Detective, I'm afraid I have no idea what you're talking about. Is that so? You said this wasn't the first time, in fact. He said the first one did quite well. I'm sure he did. Why don't you ask the old timer about that? See if his memory has held up enough to recall that catastrophe. My apologies if this struck a nerve, but for now I have other topics we should get to. I don't think I have enough to, like, say it's, Is there anyone up here? No, there's no one up here. Okay, let's go look at whatever this blood pattern is. Another shocking aspect to the case unfolding in front of us. This is the wall trail begins considering the impact on the wall. This is where the two guests likely fought. That impact was likely result. And with enough force, that would explain the crooked painting. Whatever happened, it's clear the conflict continued onwards. But I'll have to keep investigating to learn more. Should I... Do I follow the pattern? Ah. This is clearly important to our case, so what should I investigate? The exhibit. Read miniature Moa statue, circa 1300. Another victim in this odd accumulation of crimes, unfortunately. The crime scene. The blood trail leads here over the edge of the balcony. It's dashed across the exhibit podium as well. Podium looks like it's been pushed askew as well. The art piece is missing. Stations are unlatched, presumably by force. Considering the perilous angle, the victim is visibly lying on the floor below. They were likely disoriented and stumbled backwards to their demise. That's all there is to find here, for now at least. Nothing else here, right? No. Okay, I need to talk to the old timer. About this article. Do you know if the curator requested the critic come write it today? Huh? No, absolutely not. I'm sure he... sorry, they would never ask the critic to do that. Again. Curator alluded to a previous article. What happened with that? I'll keep the story short, but since it isn't mine to tell, between you and I, it wasn't pretty. It was harsh, but perfectly fair. I've heard murmurs it put the museum in a rough spot, but that wasn't our concern. Despite tonight's commotion, the museum seems fine to me. Let's move on for now. Let me talk to the critic and see whether... No, we can't talk to the critic about it. Do you think the old timer is the one? Must have been hoping to write an article about the museum that the two testimonials against the claim. But why lie about that at all? Perhaps I should pay him another visit and ask. About the article. Yes, do you want to read it? I have an early draft if you'd like. That's interesting considering the curator was entirely unaware of that request you mentioned. They must be playing coy with you, or maybe they're just embarrassed they need my help to help their museum afloat. But I guess you wouldn't understand. Standing on the outside, desperately trying to look in. You're trying to change the topic. Did the curator ask you to write the article or not? No, they didn't. They didn't have to. I received an anonymous tip that I decided to be generous. Fine. It's my turn to change the topic then. An anonymous tip. Right, this is the last two people, I think. Greetings, detective. Boy, am I glad you're here. Glad to be here, although not necessarily under these circumstances. Happy to help nonetheless. Ultimately, I don't think I am going to be much help. I'm a bit of an anxious rabbit, you see. Okay, that's okay. We can work through it slowly with whatever information we have. It's quite a relief. I know a lot about being a guy, but I'm afraid I just don't hold well up under pressure. Is that what it is, right? Of course. I'll need to ask a lot of questions. I can't leave any stone unturned, but let me know if it becomes too much. Sounds like a great plan, detective. Great, let's get to it, if you're ready. Sure thing, detective. Gosh, I don't tend to talk about myself very much. After a few years, I'm still the museum's newest employee, and I've been into art history for a long time. Interesting. How do you spend your free time? Nothing super exciting. I have a sweet tooth, so I bake a bunch, enjoy a good period drama, and I read when I can. What else? Gosh, no. I mean, I did try watercolor once or twice, but yeah, it was a bad. Don't get me started on the charcoals and oil paint pastels I have sitting in my closet. I'm a bit of an impulse. Obviously, I still study art a lot, but no, never really felt much like making it. Definitely not for everyone, including myself. Should we change the topic then? I'm the current leader of education and guest relations here at the museum. If visitors have questions or they want to talk, I'm their bunny. Aside from that, I'm also the youngest member of the team, so I try to manage our marketing and outreach. The curator and the guard don't really understand my social media, you know, nowadays though. That's my least favourite part of the job. The internet can be a cruel place. I don't envy you in the least. Books make fair points, like our exhibits, but they don't really understand any of it works. They don't like that we keep art from cultures that aren't ours, and I don't disagree with them. But lots of people might never be exposed to those other cultures if I didn't. I don't know, it's complicated. Most of the world is these days. Why don't we discuss another point? Just the most soul-draining corporate office work. I went to school for business, whatever that means. In retrospect, it felt like a bit of a scam. Not like I was passionate about any of it, but it was safe, or so they said. Are you passionate about what you do now? Absolutely. I wouldn't change a thing, at least not major thing, right? Sure, there are bigger museums and better pay, but I used to think about that kind of thing way too much. I like the people here. I trust them and they appreciate me. I get to inspire people's passions. Can't ask for more than that, I suppose. I do want to ask some more questions, though, if that's okay. Before everything started to unravel, I was going about a normal day's business. More specifically, I was answering questions and offering tours to the various guests, but with the varying success. It's not totally weird or anything, but the critic was the first to really engage at all. He had some questions about a sculpture, but then he started questioning my qualifications. Any particular reason for the change in topic? Maybe it was a distraction. We could overhear the old timer shouting upstairs, but eventually he went upstairs to check on him anyway. I figured it would diffuse itself and they'd come back down, so I went into the antiques hoping I could escort them out for causing trouble. They didn't go as planned, unfortunately. I can see that. How about we discuss what happened instead? Sure thing, detective. You said they were asking you some personal questions, but he described it as only a debate between experts. Well, I did say questions, but they were more challenges. Did it feel perhaps more like an ulterior motive? You mentioned the possibility it could have been a distraction. I don't think he had a goal. He was just being curmudgeonly old man. That sounds rude, but true. And that isn't anything new, so I guess I didn't think too much of it. Not until, well, the rest by now. I do, yes. Thanks for clarifying that. Maybe we should clear up a few other things. Honestly, it all felt very sudden. I don't even really remember what happened. After everything had sort of resolved or calmed down, the curator said someone had shot a gun in the museum. That seemed like a pretty difficult detail to miss with how loud it would be against all these marble walls. Yeah, the noise. I think that's what sent me into shock. The next thing I remember was the curator's voice breaking through this haze. They were trying to get me to do my breathing exercises, and when I was responsive enough, they left to call the police. But I kept thinking that if the creator hadn't prioritized me, maybe the diamond wouldn't have been stolen. I didn't feel guilty. It's only natural the creator would be concerned for you, especially over just some priceless rock. A rock as far as we know is still around here somewhere. I'll find it. Thanks, detective. You're right. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Let's talk about something else, okay? The guide. This may not necessarily been a lie, but it certainly speaks to the critic's sensibilities, and at least his testimony seems to line up otherwise. Hello? Greetings, I'm the detective from Feline Forensics. Well, don't get in your way. Oh, I'm actually here for you. What? I'm innocent, I swear. I meant I'm here to talk to you. Some simple questions, really. There's no need to be so nervous, unless you have a reason to be nervous. I'm innocent, I swear. Oh no, I was just making a joke, trying to break the tension. I've been told I'm very dry, so please accept my apologies. It's okay, I accept. Thank you for questioning me. And please go about your duties, I'll stay out of your way. I appreciate that, thank you. If I have any more... Wait, I haven't asked you any questions yet. Oh, rats, I didn't think you'd realise. Fine, go ahead. I hate talking about myself, I really shouldn't. Oh, you don't care about that, detective? I'm just a little mouse, nothing special, like I said. Also, super innocent. I'm sure you are, so you wouldn't mind if I searched your backpack, for instance. Well, why would you need to do that? I haven't stolen anything and put it in my backpack if that's what you think. I'm just kidding again. Why did you come to the museum today? I came here for a date, okay? They stood me up. Is that what you want me to say? Don't you know how hard it is these days with the apps and the mixers and the socializing and the being attractive? Not to mention the texting and the flirting and the leaving the house. Oh, don't get me started on going outside. It's dreadful, detective. It's terrible. The only silver lining is that you can find places like this that are free to get stood up. Imagine having to pay for that type of embarrassment. Wait, actually, never mind. My apologies. I'm sure there's another As in, what do you do for work? What do you make a living? I don't really make a living. I'm kind of unmaking a living, getting further and further into debt. Couldn't you tell by my distinct lack of sleep? I'm a student. Oh, I see. What are you studying? Game design, for the creativity of it, you know? And obviously the money. There is no denying that the tech industry is booming. It's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. Line up, go up. Couldn't ask for more fantastic working conditions too. It's incredibly accessible, historically inclusive, diversity off the charts. Stability, look no further. Problematic behavior and business practice, not here. Literally nothing to complain about. Not a thing at all. Actually, why don't we talk about something else? Okay, I don't think that's really how game design is, but okay. Is that important? I don't think it is. Let's not do that. I can't actually ask him what happened. Can I? About today's events. Yeah, what were you doing? Oh, far back should I go? I came in with a few hours ago and started going through a few exhibits. You can skip ahead slightly. Right, of course, totally. Well, I got to the natural history exhibit after a bit and started admiring all the artwork there. I could overhear what sounded kind of like an argument. I didn't give it much thought, minding my own business, but I started to get more intense. It didn't take long to realize it had escalated further than it should have. Everything spun out of control from there. I see. We should go over those details as well. Oh, okay. Detective, if you say so. I couldn't tell what it was about, but I heard the argument upstairs was beginning to get physical. Bad things just kind of happen randomly nowadays, and better not to take any chances, you know? I got to the foyer, but that's when my suspicions were solidified, the sounds of a gunshot. I pounced towards the door, but I reached it for the handle. The place went into total lockdown. I was scared, Detective. I felt cornered, trapped. I did the only thing I could think of. I retreated into the sculpture gallery to hide until things calmed down. I almost knocked over one of the sculptures in my haste. Thankfully, it was too long until everything seemed to control again. I think control as it could be, I suppose. Let's change the topic, alright? Okay, that's everything. I guess the curator told us the opposite. No. Entered the museum, paid, and found his way into the natural. The punk? Oh no, it's not that, is it? It's the evidence, the admission receipt. I see that. Could it be that the student just stumbled into a bit of luck? But why lie about that? Maybe though through all the excitement he misremembered. It could be that easy, right? Do you think maybe the date was the punk? And that's what they got into an argument about with the old timer? Earlier tonight, the blank in the blank with the surprisingly had a blank. Earlier tonight, the blank something in the museum. Is this museum, maybe? Tonight, the alarm... Something alarm in the museum. Oh, no, alarm there. Alarm in the museum. Museum... No. Earlier tonight, the gemstone... The gemstone. Something in the museum. The artwork. This is awful. Is it like the security alarm? How about the museum alarm? Earlier tonight, the museum alarm in the something. Let me just stick some words in. Is that not gun? He surprisingly had a gun. No, that's not right. Gun. I'd like to know something. The punk. Who surprisingly had a gun. I like that. They argued in the... Where was it that they argued? Was it the courtyard? I don't think it was. They argued in the exhibit. And eventually the... Is there like fights? And eventually the punk... Is it punk? Where's people? Eventually the punk fell. Fell from the... And then is there like a balcony? Something balcony. What, your balcony? Oh. No. They argued in the exhibit and eventually the punk fell from the courtyard balcony. I don't think it's courtyard. Let me have a look at my notes. The murder guest. One of the courtyard. Murder guest, initial investigation. Let me go back. It's not this I want to look at, I don't think. It's actually the no, not you. It's actually the thing. Where is the old timer? Create no intention conversation. They went upstairs to find gallery with the fine art gallery. Pulled out a gun. Two broke into scuffle. Took it to the courtyard. Courtyard balcony is right. I like courtyard balcony, but they argued in the fine art. They argued. They or fought in the fine art, or is it fought? They fought in the fine art, or is it courtyard? They fought in the exhibit? No. Foyer? It's not foyer. They fought in the courtyard? I don't think it's courtyard. Desk? No, they fought in the exhibit. I'm gonna go with exhibit, and eventually the punk argued, fought, fell, forgot, hacked, hid, purchased, locked, retreated, shot, stole, stabbed from the courtyard balcony. Maybe it's argued. I think I already tried that though. No, it's definitely fought. Maybe it's old timer here. Maybe eventually the old timer. No, it's definitely the punk. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not fell. No, it is fell. So whatever if I put here, fine art. And then instead of doing courtyard balcony, we could do like fell from the balcony. The outside balcony. Is it fine art balcony? It wasn't the fine art balcony though, was it? It was like the sculptures, I think. The sculpture balcony. Was it? No, it wasn't fine art. What was it? Natural history? Nope. The antiques balcony? Nope. I had to check if the dog got into where. They fought in the fine art. They fought in the fine art. Doesn't make sense. They fought in the They fought in the foyer. Makes sense. They fought in the exhibit. Also makes sense. They fought in the exhibit, and eventually the punk fell from the antiques balcony. No, it's courtyard balcony, isn't it? No, let me have a look at my notes again. Where's the punk here? Enter the museum alone. Between them leading into the courtyard balcony where the punk slammed the old hammer into a wall. In the continued scuffle, the punk fired his gun but missed the intended target before dropping the weapon in zone. It backpedaled towards the balcony of the natural history exhibit. They fought in the courtyard. And then he fell off the, was it natural history balcony? That's right, okay. Amidst the chaos, someone... Is it heard? I feel like it's heard. Amid the chaos, someone heard the fight. Saw the fight. No, someone hid. Someone hid the gun. Oh no, someone stole. Someone stole the... Where's the gem? Someone stole the gemstone from the... Is it natural history exhibit? What about if it was a fake? The thingy, the critic said everything's fakes here. What about if it was a fake and the curator's stealing it for like an insurance scam? Led by the curator. Led by the curator, the museum staff. Led by the loyal guard and the knowledgeable guide. Suspect and witnesses, including the eccentric. Who's eccentric? Is it the podcaster? I mean, this is the student, the anxious student, the jolly tourist, and the reserved artist. No, you're not going to tell me? Okay. The eccentric podcaster? The bitter critic? It's hard to say. I feel like the critic and the old timer could be switched out. Like old timer there and then critic the other way. Yeah. I know earlier tonight the museum staff in the Camera? Is this camera? Maybe? Earlier tonight, the museum with the tourist who surprisingly had a camera. Earlier tonight, the guard got locked, street stabbed, shot, purchase, hid, fought, fell, destroyed. The guard argued in the dropped in the music. Surprisingly had a camera. Punk. Earlier tonight, the punk now destroyed, hit, purchased in the museum with the tourist. Earlier tonight, the podcaster dropped in the this one should not be this difficult. What happened first in the night? He was in the courtyard discussing the retro photography equipment techniques. Because this happened beforehand. So the first thing, everything that happened before the fight was he was in the courtyard with the podcaster who had a camera. The student got his ticket paid for. He paid for his ticket. She was discussing retro techniques. Towards hand in the can, arguing, hoping to stop that fighting. This isn't really interesting. Tempted to offer tours to various guests, but no avail. Or maybe it was the fact that the guide was talking to the critic. Can we try that? Earlier tonight, the critic. Let's do critic. Earlier tonight, the critic argued in the... Where did they argue? Was it the courtyard? Let me have a look because I want to get this right. Was it decided to investigate? Investigate. Where was the critic talking though? Began to find the guide on within the sculpture exhibit. Okay. In the sculpture exhibit. With the guide, who surprisingly had a gun. I feel like if I was gonna do this anywhere, I feel like I'd swap critic and guide round. Earlier tonight, the guide argued in the sculpture exhibit with the critic, who surprisingly had because it would be earlier tonight. The podcaster dropped it. See, it doesn't work. But what else would you surprisingly have as a critic? I feel like it's got to be podcaster and... I think it's got to be the podcaster and tourist because it surprisingly had a camera, surely. Earlier tonight, the tourist... No, it's got to be tourist here with the who surprisingly had the tourist who surprisingly had a camera. Had a camera, and then this has got to be the podcaster. The podcaster argued in where were they doing that? Where were they? In the courtyard with the podcaster. In the courtyard. In the courtyard outside. Or the outside courtyard. Podcaster, maybe it's not argued. Retreated. Maybe it's fought. No. Maybe it's the... Earlier tonight, the... Because what were the guard doing prior to the other welcoming the curator and the argument upstairs? Not make this here. I just have no clue here. Can I... Maybe I don't have enough of what evidence. I feel like I need to examine them, but I don't know how. I'm really like looking at this. I don't see anything. Maybe if I go back to the... What's her name? With the camera. Nope. Courtyard exhibit. It's called the courtyard exhibit. Okay, so maybe I can do in the courtyard exhibit. What about if I swap them over? Can't be. I thought in the courtyard eventually. See, the thing is, it says they, so I'm thinking this has got to be. Oh, wait. I'm so stupid. Oh my gosh, wait. I think I know what it is. Not gemstone, gun. Earlier tonight, and then it's gonna be. It is gonna be argued. It's gonna be the punk. Where's punk? Who surprisingly had a gun. And then, yeah. And then it's gonna be the old timer, because it says they fought in the courtyard. Yeah, it's gonna be, so the old timer argued in the, I don't think it was there though, I think it was the fine art. The old timer argued in the fine art exhibit with the punk who surprisingly had a gun. You knew I was onto something. I've got basic details of every case sorted. Collect your initial findings. Now it's really time to get to work. Okay, right. There's one for observing each of the museum's exhibits, so we're just going to quickly skip through this and try and do it. There's one as well. I just want to make sure we're getting them all. I don't really want to read them all, though. That would take forever. Let's skip through and do that. Is there anything over here that I missed that one? I'm pretty sure I did the T-Rex. Let me just double check. Is there anything on this wall? Yeah, there is. I don't know if I looked at the ones in the foyer. Let's go do that quickly. Oh, there's someone here as well. Okay, right. Not the most fun achievement, but it has to be done, you know? Is that one? No, that's just the thing. Why have they got paintings in the foyer? I don't know. I don't go to many museums, but what is it normal to have paintings like in the foyer before you've even paid for the exhibit? Surely not. Okay, right. Go here first. To each room. Let's have a look here. Okay, there doesn't seem to be many in here. I don't know if I read this one. I think I did. I'm just gonna double check, you know? This one needs to be done. I don't think there's anything in the, what is here? I don't think there's anything in the... I forget what it's called. The courtyard. Here we are. Here I'm getting all disoriented, but we've been to there. We need to look at this one. Okay, I think I've looked at all these. We need to go up now. Oh look, they got the Banksy one. That was shredded not too long. Well, it's not long ago. It's been a few years now. But when they tried to remove it from the frame, it all started shredding. You know, it's its own art piece. I think I looked at these yet. Phew, bless me. I like this one. Okay. This is when we read the last one and it doesn't pop. Why? But we do need to go like up here first because there's an upstairs to all of these. I've already looked at this one, right? The exhibit placard. This one. And then if we go round and go opposite. Well, actually, no, that is down. Yeah, so we need to go opposite over here. Yep. Okay. What does this say? True art is dead. Okay. No, this should be the last one, please. What? Is that it? There's no way I've just read everything. I've just looked at everything, please. I just looked at everything. Okay, wait. How's the game going? It's going well, but the puzzles are actually really hard. How do I click the pen? I want to click the pen. We need to click the pen. I swear I've looked at all of the exhibits, haven't I? Maybe it's got a downstairs for the thingy room, or an upstairs for the painting room. Yeah, maybe I haven't looked like downstairs for that room. I don't know. Let me look. I swear I've looked at all the painting. Maybe I haven't done this one actually. Now I'm just losing it. Try and get this achievement. If we've done this, let's go down here. No, I definitely looked here. I definitely did this. Right? Okay, let me just do it all again, just in case. Now it's got me second guessing myself. We're trying to get the achievement for like looking at everything in the museum, but it's so hard to try and keep track of what I've looked at. I've done all that upstairs. I've done this. The only place I haven't been to is the courtyard, and I really don't think there's one in there. Is it actually just... Oh my gosh, it's the courtyard. Okay, well, at least we've done that now. Let me refresh this so I can see. Pick the pen. Find any alternative solution is what I'm like. Where do we find an alternative solution for this? You know? Complete the meeting at a suspect lead. Well, I've spoke with everyone. The interesting pair of the eccentric. Including the curator, of course. Okay. Okay. Let me have a look at the previous page. Okay. They also include the anxious artist and the thingy. So as they... As they... something, as they blank the blank into a blank, causing the blank to be... As they... So, they also included led by the creator. So they, as they... It's not retreated, it's... Causing that to be stolen. Is it causing the gemstone to be stolen? I don't know. I'm like go off the pictures because this looks like as they fought below, and then as they fought the gun fell. No, blank into the punk pushed. I think it's, do we have pushed or retreated? The blank retreated. No. Argued, destroyed, fell, fought, hid, locked, shot, stabbed, shot. The blank shot the... No, because I think this is wall. Yeah. Like it's pushed into a wall. As they fought, the something into the wall, causing the gun to be dropped. It dropped one. Yeah. Thank you, Kyla, for the glitter. I need it right now. Causing the gun to be dropped. Or is it, there isn't like fired, is there? Or shot? Causing the gun to be shot. I think it might be shot, actually. And then next, it's dropped below. As they fought, the... I think, is it like hit? Purchased, stole, stabbed, retreated. Let's have a look what they say. It's not the critic, it's the old timer. The fight continued. They slammed the old timer into the wall, but he didn't let up. Fired the gun but missed the target. I think it was the critic that also told me. The gun was fired. Finally on the team since strugglers continue. Rushed to the side of the make sure they're okay. Okay, right. I'm looking. This one's a difficult one. This one is a tricky one. It's definitely these two, but he hit him into a wall, causing the gun to be fired. No. Alright, where's the old timer? Mr. fired the gun and missed the target. The old timer was then disarmed with ease. No, it seems like the fight continued to escalate, leading the punk to slam the old timer into a wall. So, I'm gonna put the old timer here. As they... the old timer into a wall, causing the gun to be shot. And for the blank, it's the punk here. No. As they fought... should I swap like punk and old timer? Yeah, so that's better. As they fought, the old timer shot the... No, it's not shot. It's stabbed, stole, hid, fought, fell. The old timer... The old timer... If not wall, is there like what's it called? Backpack cabinet, courtyard, office, sculpture, wall, net foyer. No. So it's got to be. It's not a sculpture, is it? Other guest looks on from below. Did anyone else see the fight? Where the punk slammed the old timer into the wall. In the contained scope, the fired his gun but missed his intended target, dropping the weapon as a result of the unexpected recoil. He dropped. Nope, it's definitely shot. No, it's not a wall. Maybe it's not wall. Did I swap out wall? No, it is wall. So it's not fought then. As they argued... Nope, it's definitely fought. Maybe this is sculpture. Punk into a... Nope. It was definitely a wall. I don't know why I changed that. I think it's shot anyway. The old timer something... I think maybe fought now. As they fought, the old timer something... Locked, retreated, stabbed? Stabbed? Stabbed the punk? Nope. Fell? As I thought, the old timer fell, the punk into a wall? No. Maybe it's... I haven't got the right word. Maybe I need to go get the word from one of them. I don't know. Let's just go back and have a look, maybe. Yeah, maybe we can talk to someone. The guide. Are you aware the discussion you shared earlier was taken quite differently by her? Whatever could you mean, detective? It was simply a forum for two intellectuals. Perhaps one person's forum is another's arena, especially when such a debate is uninvited. Have you considered that? I can assure you that it was not my intention to debate her. Surely she's been through more treacherous challenges than I could provide. I'm not in a position to make claims one way or another, but I found the disparity in your testimony is important enough to clarify. And worth noting, if your honest response to criticism is defensive, then I suggest you reflect on why that is. How astute and utterly absurd a sentiment. That's my job. Now have more inquiries to make by my investigation. Okay. Well, they're not going to tell me anything. Let's see if any of them are willing to share more. About admission? What was it about? No fee or anything? No, in this case, someone had actually come in before you and paid in advance, actually. Oh, call it luck, right? That kind of thing never happens to me. So you weren't aware of who paid it? Nope. I don't think anything of it. It just went on my way, waiting for that date, like I said before. Well, it turns out the generous patron was caught in this chaotic situation and unfortunately cost them their life. What? Detective, I lied, okay. I lied to you. I didn't come here for a date. I do know who paid my admission. The punk. He was my friend, my best friend. Please, could you tell me what happened? He and another visitor got into an argument, ultimately fell from the balcony in the natural history exhibit. It seems to have been fatal. Oh, okay. Detective, you know, a couple more questions if you would need to, but I'd like a few minutes to myself. Of course, in the meantime, I'll continue to investigate the details of the ball. It goes without saying, perhaps, but I'm sorry for your loss. Okay, detective, if you say so. That seems like a big thing to keep quiet about. Why would he not walk around the exhibit with his best friend? Maybe the artist can say some more? nothing for you. Maybe I can talk to the curator and the guardian. Maybe someone has something there. Oh wait. The artist. Perhaps recall encountered him earlier, perhaps in the courtyard. That's a tough one. The tourist was there and the pocket. Oh, you know what? The artist was in the courtyard. Come to think of it, when I was barreling through to get to the vault stairs, I nearly tripped over my own 2 paws. Or so I thought, but now you mention it, yeah, it must have been him that I was stumbling over. Such a silly thing for me to forget, ain't it? So sorry, detective. I guess my memory's a bit hazy after the whole debacle, like getting out of control. Apology accepted and understandable. As you know, that's not terribly uncommon. Why don't we discuss something else for now then? You mentioned in your testimony that you discovered her in an antiques exhibit, stunned from the sound of a gunshot. As much as you know about her condition, do you think it's possible she could have been unaware of your presence in that moment? I hadn't really considered that, but I bet you're right. I can't reiterate enough how I really did try to help, but the creators always had a lighter touch, so calling them for them was the best call I could make. I agree. I don't think you did anything wrong. I just need to corroborate the 2 stories, so thank you for that. But I've got some more questions. The guard discovered her. Considering her condition at the time, there's no way she could have known the guard tried to help her. As far as I can tell, this was just an honest mistake, but worth keeping on the record straight nonetheless. Before, yes, about the suspects. I met all of them and tried to establish profiles on each. There's something at the heart of this, and I'll find out who. Yes, congratulations, detective. I have the utmost faith in your sleuthing skills, so please continue to work diligently. It's getting late, don't you think? Injustice doesn't sleep, I'm afraid, and takes time to shine light on the truth. Fine. Do what you must. Take as much time as you need. See, the curator as well really wants to push out leaving and getting it done quickly. Like, I'm just not convinced. Do what you must. Take as much time as you need, but remember, the very fate of this museum hinges on your ability to resolve this efficiently. I think you mean effectively, curator. Either way, we should move on to another topic. Curing. Oh, that's not the right one. Right, the guide. You described her as stunned until eventually your efforts to rouse her were successful and she told you to call the authorities. But she described the situation differently, that you failed to calm her and left her there unmoving in order to call the police. Ah, she said that, did she? Do you recall I also described her as selfless and to a fault? I'll have you know she's like a daughter to me. I'd regret to say that she lied to you, detective, to save my feathers. For a curator to not prioritise the safety of their guests or even their exhibits, I believe she intended to maintain my proper image. A noble act and certainly loyal, but it was still a lie. I'll have to reconvene on that, but for now, we have other matters to discuss. Okay. Curator? Well, the curator did leave to call the authorities. It wasn't before successfully rousing the guide from her stun. Was she intentionally trying to throw me, or was it just to maintain the curator's reputation? We'll find out. I think they have these bubble by them when they have something I can ask them. About the guard, about the creator. Believed you were aware at the moment, but I figured I should tell you. He did try to help you while you were stunned in state. Unfortunately, he didn't know how to help, but he called for the creator to come take care of you. He wished he could have done more, he said. Oh, the guard has always been the nicest. If you get a chance to tell him I appreciate it, I'll bring him an extra croissant tomorrow. I'm sure he'll enjoy that. I've got some more details to go over if you wouldn't mind. Sure thing, detective. According to your testimony, they helped you to a point and then prioritised calling the police. Unfortunately, they didn't corroborate that. Giving me a chance to revive my statement. Okay, yeah, the creator would never have prioritised the museum over us. At least not as far as I've ever known. They did help me recover more than I let on before, but it's my idea to call the authorities. Curator theorised you were attempting to protect their reputation. Is that the case? I suppose it was. I know they come across as a bit prickly, detective, but they do mean well. And they do whatever it takes to support us. I just wish this way we could do the same for them. It does seem to be a bit of a trend, but there are other topics we should get to. Go upstairs again. Nothing here. I'm kind of thinking we should go talk to the what's it called? The tourist. See if there's anything the tourist can say. Oh, I can do something here. I have more information about the museum security now. I should probably take a second pass at this. But assuming the thief used the statue to break open the case because witnesses believe that's what triggered the alarm, there's no denying they heard the glass shatter and it was the alarm blaring, but that doesn't mean it was intentional. When the statue was shot and fell, if it landed into the display below, the gemstone would have been ripe for the taking, unless it was already gone. According to the creator's knowledge on this security system, that leaves up two possibilities. One, the thief opened the case, which locked the museum doors and the alarm went off later. Or two, the thief was a registered user with the system and the doors wouldn't have been locked until the case was accidentally broken later. Unfortunately, there's no way to know which is true right now. Maybe the guard will have further insight in my theory. Detective, what can I do for you? Additional details. I look back over the crime scene with special attention to the pedestal of the stolen gemstone, and I have a theory I'd like to run by you. Lay it on me. I believe that when the display case was broken, the gemstone was already missing. From everything you know about the security system, would that be possible? I suppose it could be, Detective. That'd be quite the twist. The issue is I'm having with my theories how to actually prove it without more clearly defined timing. It's impossible to know for sure. Well, the security system has an interface you could access in our maintenance room, but I can't provide you the kind of clearance. That's something you'd have to get the curator's approval for, since it's private business and all that. I was hoping it wouldn't come to that, but if that's what it takes, I'll give it a shot. Until then, I think I might have a few more things to discuss with you. Okay. Curator's not going to want to let me. In the back room. The guard mentioned it while we were discussing the security system. I believe access could help crack this case if you'd allow it. Preposterous. Everything that happened tonight took place within the public space. No one had access to the maintenance room tonight. Tonight, sure, but what if all of this was set in motion prior? What would you say then? As far as I know, and you can prove that Punk came in to drum up trouble and some other opportunists saw fit to seize their chance. Nikki, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. How are we? How was were you playing Thrifty Business? How did you enjoy Thrifty Business? I loved it. I am like so happy with Thrifty Business. I think it was so good, like especially compared to like Sticky Business was good, right? But nothing on Thrifty Business, right? He's kept trashing your store. I kind of wish I had done Twitch integration, but then I wouldn't have been able to get the video. I need your help to get the perfectionist achievement. Which one? Nikki, I posted my video. You know, you can... I don't know. It might all have been cut out, to be fair, all the organising I did, but yeah, it's rough. The 3 items, do you mean the 150 score or the three items at max level 1? Or both? I feel like they're kind of hand in hand. Because 3 max level 1, right. I think for that one I did kitchen, electronics, and then I can't remember what the 3rd item I did was. It was kitchen, electronics, and then it might have been like household, honestly. What is max? 8. When it turns gold. When it turns gold, you're max level 8. Let me actually like pop a link to my newest video in chat, because you know I'm really proud of it, and if you haven't watched it, you should. Let me pop a link to it because I love it. Like I'm so proud of this one. So for those of you who don't know, I 100% games over on YouTube. So if you take a look over there, you can see that we 100%ed. Let me swap over to here while I'm chatting. We 100%ed Thrifty Business. So I actually think I was the first person to 100% Thrifty Business. By the look of things, I was. Like I've looked on Steam Hunters and things, and no one has a record of completing it before me, because I completed it like what, on the 16th, I think we got the keys on the 14th. I'd completed it by the 15th or the 16th, and then the game released on the 18th, I want to say, or the 20th. No, was it the 18th? It released this Monday. So I think I was the first to complete it because there's no record of anyone who got the early access key completing it. So I think I'm the first to complete it. So that's my highest flex right now. I completed this game first. So it's so difficult without a guide. But yeah, I think I did definitely kitchen. Definitely, honestly. Oh, I know what I did. I remember. I did clothing, kitchen, and electronics. So I just put about 6 clothing rails. You can see, like in my video, how I have my clothing rails set up. I think I had about 6 clothing rails and just filled them with clothes. And clothing maxed out for me. I did kitchen as a whole room. I did it on like the left room, the first left room you unlock. That in there, I just had kitchen stuff. And then in the first room you have that you get when you first open the game up. I just put electronics in that room. But you have to be careful because the room's so big that sometimes like they don't all fit into the same area, so you have to be really careful. But like I think I had like 2 or 3 shelving units, 2 tables, and then those tiny like shelves, and that did it for me. But yeah, it was a great 100%. I loved it. The art style was incredible. I don't know what I'm looking forward to 100%ing next the most. I really want to do Moomin Troll because I need it for my M game of the year. Insane. I think that'll be my last achievement. Really? Oh, you mean like the last to do? Well, I don't know how you've managed to do it if you have, but the 150 total score seems to be kind of tied in with that one. So I think to get the 150 score at the end of the day, I had to have I don't know how many I had to have, but I think I had about 6 or 7 maxed out categories to try and get that score. And then I had a bunch of decorations. And by decorations, I just mean I threw rugs down everywhere to boost it. I didn't actually decorate, I just threw rugs down. I haven't hit that one either. When you do one, honestly, just do both together because you don't want to get to a point where you've organized everything, you've got your 3 categories, and then people buy everything and you have to organize it again. Honestly, just do both together. Just do them both. I think when I had the 3 categories, I think I was sat at around 120. So you just need like 1 or 2 more categories maxed out to get that 150. So just do that, then you don't have to worry about organizing for the rest of the game, honestly. But yeah, it was crazy. But welcome in everyone else. For those of you who don't know, my name is Rose and we do 100%ing games over here. So today we are actually we're like on like the last day of this week's 2-week birthday and streamiversary 2-week celebration. So I have been trying to raise funds for my camera. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. So next week, I think we're going to stream a lot more. We're going to stream every day, but we're trying to raise funds mainly for the camera on Throne. But you can see in the bottom right that what the donations equate to. So like 1 sub is 500 bits and or £5. So which you can also donate through Throne. Or gift through Throne, I guess. And every £10 we do a wheel spin. So there's chance to give away games and add time to stream or make me change the game we are playing, which we had a lot of one day. And it turns out we really enjoy Killing Floor 3 for some reason. I was playing Racoin. We had to swap to Killing Floor 3. Don't know why. But yeah. This is my link to Throne. We're trying to get that camera funded. I feel like I need to change it from 100% equals horror stream because I didn't realize before, but it's actually hard to know that up there is a face cam and not just some random progress bar I have up there. But we are a quarter of the way through. It would be a dream come true to get that camera funded so that we can have face cam in stream because I'm getting really tired of this PNG tuber. It keeps breaking on me and I have to fix it. So yeah, I just want that gone, ideally. But yeah, next week is my birthday, so the stream, like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be streaming on my birthday as well. But I don't know for how long, it depends. And all donations or gifts, sorry, do go on to, this isn't the right one, do go onto our graphic, so you get to be a pretty flower in, let me swap us over. You did get to be a pretty flower in the garden. So you can see here we've hit our £25 goal and we have some, I need to add jazz on here. No, I've added jazz on here. We're good. You get to be a pretty pink flower in the garden. You don't have to be pink, actually. Don't know why I said that. So Eden's in here, like everyone's in here, you know. You get to pick what you want to be and what colour, you know. You don't have to be realistic. You can be whatever colour you want to be. But I've been posting this at the end of each stream, like for our progress. And yeah, it's been really fun. I feel like I want to do something like this more often, having a graphic done, but yeah. So back to the game. Why do you do me like this? Okay. Yeah, that will work if I do that. Okay, right. Back to the game. We are playing Feline Forensics and the Meowseum Mystery. It's a long title, okay? Just like Duck Detective, I feel like it's been super fun. It's actually been difficult. I feel like with Duck Detective, it was a little bit easy. This is actually really difficult. I think so, at least. Like I'm struggling sometimes with what to pick, like what words to use in it. And it's actually really interesting. There's like hidden like LGBTQ relationships in here, and like there's just a bunch of things. There's like hidden friendships, and I think there's a bit of an insurance scam happening, honestly. And gosh, yeah, there's 3 different cases that are happening. So someone's been murdered, a gem's been stolen, and I think the camera is like a third one. So we've got someone who brought a camera in who shouldn't have. So yeah. As far as I know, you can prove that Punk coming in with a drum up trouble. Some other opportunities saw fit to seize a chance. What would you say to that, you ask? I would say still no. I hope you understand that if I find another means of access, I will have to defy your wishes. And I find something important there. You could be held liable for obstruction. Then so be it. Now move along. I will, of course, but right now there are other things to discuss. So yeah, we've got to try and find a way in to the back maintenance room. I'm convinced it was the curators done this as an insurance scam, because the critic says that they think some of these pieces are fake, or they know they're fakes, and they said like where there's 2, there's 3, so they are convinced there's at least 3 fake things in here. So I'm convinced this gem was maybe a fake and they've done it as an insurance scam. Can I put it all together? Additional details. I'm going to ask about the maintenance room, aren't I? About the back room. I've just got to sit with the garden. I believe it could be incredibly important. So would you be able to take me there? Staff only, though. Do you already have the creative permission? For the purpose of our conversation now, let's assume yes, I do. Wouldn't think of it, wouldn't matter either way. And why is that? I embarrassingly misplaced my keys a week ago, so I actually can't get into the main room. Gotta lurk, sorry, Rod. No, of course, Nikki. Please go lurk. I don't know how much longer we'll be going. Not much, but I've got to leave shortly. But I'm hoping to get to like a good point in the game before we have to go, you know. The curator said they were going to have a replacement made for me soon, but in the meantime, the guard lets me borrow his. Sorry, detective, not much of help on this front. Maybe you could borrow the guard key too. May not be as easy as you think. Why don't we discuss something else instead? My throat's so dry at the moment. Okay. There we go. I think it's tripped. Tripped the punk into a wall now. Do you not pushed or anything still? Oh, I think it was shoved is the actual word used. Daughter. Okay, right. How would we find these keys? I think we should ask the artist, honestly. I think the artist would know. I think the artist down here. Yeah, I feel like the artist would know because they always say that no one ever notices them. Sometimes this is right, but wouldn't have an idea where it is, would you? You mean the maintenance room for the museum? Can't say I do. However, I may have something that can help you find it. Most just prepare an event about the investigating robot. What do you have? Told you earlier about how the guy bumped into me. It appears he dropped his keys in the posters. You can have them if you think it would assist you. Oh wow! Unfortunately, I can't use a key on a door. I can't find, but I'm sure these will come in handy when I do. You're welcome, detective. Feel free to return them once these are wrapped up. Of course, I have no need for them. Yes, well, thanks. We'll do. Allow me to ask a few more questions. Okay, we have some keys. Maybe if I like look on... Oh, wait. If we look at the keys, maybe it tells me where they're for. Yeah, I really don't know what I'm supposed to do with these keys, honestly, here. I feel like it's this key here that's got the writing on, but I don't know how I'm supposed to, like, pull that out here. Okay, well... Don't look on the map. Is there not, like, a place where the map leads that doesn't go anywhere that, you know? I don't know. This is done. Meeting our suspect. Murder guests. Collect more evidence. I press further. Yeah, I'm trying. Just hoping, honestly, maybe it's here. Wouldn't happen to be like over here, would it? Nope. Ads. I don't think anyone has anything to say to me. Helpful. Where was the one where I saw... Not this one. Where was the one where I saw that big vent? That's what I'm thinking. I think it was the opposite side. I saw one where I saw a big vent. And it let me talk to the vent. Is it this one? Stared up to be witness some real moments in the evening, huh? Why does it let me talk to the vent? What? Please, I beg of you. Like, what? Why can I talk to the vent? Let me discover something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Like... Is it because I have to leave it for long enough to be able to see things? Okay. I see. Of course, there was something else here. Rather, there isn't something else here. Something that can just be just as important. If I had to bet, it would be another case of someone's sticky paws. So that's the podcaster. Yeah, she returned the camera, but not within a case of sticky paws in an attempt to get more promotional material for her podcast. She swiped the film while the tourist was distracted. Okay, let's go talk to her then. She's just a menace, honestly, to society, like the camera. Familiar are you really with the process of cinematography? Not too much. You can learn anything on YouTube nowadays. Oh, you don't think it'd boost my photo count if I did? Is that why you're so interested in the tourist camera? Well, I've got it right here, but with some bad news. It's all empty. No film to be found. But he told you it was empty, right? You said that, right? So no surprise there. Of course. After all, photography isn't usually allowed in a place like this. Duh, you're super right. What a shame. Cold trail. Always totally moving on. No, humour me for a moment. Let's say he did have film in it and was taking photos he shouldn't have been. Someone's taking it off his guilty conscience would be quite fortuitous, wouldn't you say? Fine, I have it. You can have the film. You're killing me, detective. Just know I only took it to make some promotional material for my podcast. You gotta always be on that grind. It would have been perfect. I would say I understand, but the bottom line is I have a case that needs solving, so we should just move on to some other inquiries, and then I'll continue the investigation. Okay, so now I have the film as well. Can I not inspect that? Okay. But I suppose I need to go and talk to the tourist and be like, look, why has it got film in it? You told me there was no film in this. No? Yes. Where'd you find that, detective? Funny coincidence, right? Considering I've got your camera in evidence and all. You know, the one that you assured me didn't have any film in it? Surely this film wouldn't fit in it. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? It fits just right. Like you said, silly coincidence. If I had to spell it any further, I might have grounds to charge for contempt. Is that what you're going for? Alright, you've got me. Not only did I have film in my camera, I may have taken a few photos. I didn't think it would have been that important. I was just trying to save my hide if word got back to the curator. You understand that, right? Spewing the truth for personal gain, I can't say I do, although it's not the first time I've witnessed it. I mean, all's well that ends well, at least. If it helps solve the case I believed you found out. It could turn out to be incredibly important. Yes, let's move forward. More questioning. Okay. I need to tell the curator about it? No. But let's have a look at the gun. I'm like looking for where it's gonna tell me. Is it up here, maybe? You're not pointing at me, Ross. Like this. There's a little bit, yeah. My bad. I'm just like, where do we look at the gun, you know? I'm just discover where the gun opened. Oh, there. Okay. Well, of course, I knew there was something else here. Thankfully, it's not still loaded. It won't be doing anyone any more harm anytime soon. Although I can't gather much from this. I'm not a weapon expert. What are the chances someone here would be able to tell me more? Hey, detective, what can I do for you? Let's start with a few questions, if you wouldn't mind. I didn't mean to do that. About the weapon. I've recovered it from one of the courtyard fountains, as well as 2 pieces of the fired bullet. I'm not sure what to make of them, though. Well, for starters, this bullet most certainly belongs to that gun, in case it was ever a question. And while I didn't have a clear view from the first floor, I'm fairly certain it was the punk that had their hands on the grip. Wait, did you say the fountain of the gun was in one of the fountains? I did, yes. It's my current operating theory that the old timer got some sort of advantage against the punk and forced it in front of his grasp. Makes sense to me, but it's a bit far-fetched. The old timer would have the wherewithal to drop it so precisely. What if they were both disoriented enough that neither of them could really keep hold of it? That'd explain the precarious stature in the courtyard too. Actually, you're right. That does sound more likely. Now I have some other things I'd like to question you about, if you don't mind. I think I need to go talk to the old timer again. Is it testimonies from the guard, maybe, that... I can confirm that the gun was fired only as an accidental result of the brawl. When it went off, both men were so disoriented that neither of them kept a hold of the weapon or pursued the fight much further. Do I need to talk to... the old timer? No. Okay. That's fine. So they're together now. So I need to go into the keys and have like a proper look at them. In my head, it's this key over here. You can't see, but the one with the squiggly writing on the right. In my head, that's the key. Oh, it's a key with writing on it, at least. Oh, wait. Oh, of course. I knew there was something else here. The symbol looks like a figure with the extra diamonds. Isn't that somewhere around here? Absolute mess, but the lack of labeling makes it even worse. Okay. That's in the courtyard, right? It's not this. Welcome in. We've got a winter viola. Today's topic events about the fight. You mentioned that you had a pretty clear view, as much as you could from the lower level. Could you tell me more about how it went? You betcha. I'll tell you, you know, I don't know why they were fighting or whatever it must have been. Mighty serious, though. They came out onto the balcony swinging, and I didn't think he would have had it in him. But that old timer would not let up. I get where he was coming from, of course, because the punk had that gun and all. So he probably was thinking there wasn't any room to let up. He must have had a good step back before he struck him once and got a good shove in and landed the punk in his back flat against the wall. Considering they both got hands on the gun, it went off shortly after. It wasn't sight. I would forget. An interesting contradiction, it seems. I don't want to... No, I don't want to be in that. I want to... Yeah, I need to write down his contradiction. The whole time I didn't get shoved into the wall. He was the one doing the shoving. For having such pride, it's hard to believe he would be willingly make himself seem weak. I wonder what he would say about that. And then here we finally have the word we need. Struck. Is it not struck? As they thought, the old timer struck the punk into a wall, causing the sculpture to be shot. As they thought, maybe it's not. Maybe I need to go and talk to the old timer again. This is the wrong place. Okay, skip the pleasantry detective. At the fight, there's a witness that saw it go down a bit differently than you described. Would you like to revise your statement? I don't know what you're talking about. I've got nothing to hide. I've got no reason to lie. The most pathetic authority here. Pathetic, at least I would admit to having taken a hit, especially in a fight where I was the only person to walk away. Tyler, thank you so much for getting your daily, you got a day lily, you got 10 flowers. If you're trying to say something out with it, you falsified your testimony. The punk didn't slam you into a wall, you shoved him in an attempt to disarm and disorient him. And in that moment, the only thing you did was widen the gap and he was able to get a stronger grip on his gun. Fine, yes, I got too aggressive and I didn't back down. I kept up the pursuit because if I didn't, he would have shot me. You know, that's the truth, detective, so don't fault a washed out pup for defending himself, even if he does have a tendency to embellish. Justice had no need for embellishment. There's still more to talk to him about, isn't there? About the weapon. You described in your testimony that you disarmed him after you fired it, so why did I find one of the courtyard fountains? Perhaps you had a reason to dispose of the evidence? You want me to come clean, detective? I'll come clean. I told you, I didn't know what he was doing, and neither did I. We were fighting over it, and it was fired accidentally. The sound, the kickback, the surprise of it all, it disoriented both of us. He hobbled off backwards like I told you. He was a bit winded as well. That's when the critic found me. I was in a rougher shape than I let on before, detective, but everything else is true. For what it's worth, I'm glad you could walk away, that you're safe. However, if you provide a witness testimony again, please consider presenting only the truth. Luckily for you, it's time for me to focus on my notes. Although I should check in, nothing else to address. Okay, now I should have it where I have shoved. I knew it was shoved. As they... What? As they thought, the old timer shoved the punk into a wall, causing the sculpture to be shot. Maybe it's gun. Maybe I did mess it up by swapping out gun. Statue, not sculpture. Causing the statue to be shot. When it's fired? Or when it's shot? It hit. Or struck. It struck. When it shot, it struck the... No. When it fell, it struck the glass case below, and then the alarm, right? And then ripped the alarm. No. When it fell, it struck the glass case below, or maybe it's hit the glass case below. Is it hid? Shot, stabbed, struck. Dropped. When it dropped, it struck the glass case below. Nope, but that is the word. When it fell, I think I just tried that one. Or maybe it's not struck, maybe it's destroyed as well. Yeah, when it fell, it destroyed the glass case below and then tripped the alarm. Soon after the blank and soon after the blank from the blank into a I don't know. I think we're gonna have to end it here. Can I save it here? Is it saved? Okay. Yeah, I think we have to end here. So thank you so much for all the donation, the gifts, and the raids today. I think I know who I want to raid out to. I just want to double check that the person is still live who I want to raid out to. But thank you all so much. I just need to kind of rush off a little bit. Yeah, the person is still live. Okay. Right, I'm gonna raid it. We're gonna raid out to Dyson, who's playing Pragmata. So this will be fun. Let's start the raid out. Unfortunately, this does mean YouTube friends are gonna have to say goodbye. And yeah, I will catch you all in the Discord. Don't forget to vote on what you want to see me play, and we're gonna have to pick a point redeem as well, and a film now. We need to do a movie night. So there's a lot going on in the Discord at the moment. But yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out. I'm having a great time with the Feline Forensic game. It's so much fun. It really reminds me of Detective, but I feel like it's that notch bit harder to do. So I like that. Yeah, we got quite a few achievements as well for it, I'm pretty sure. We've got 27% of the way done with 6 achievements, so that's pretty nice. And we got one rare one with click the pen 9 times for each of his lives. Yeah, I think there's multiple different endings that we're gonna have to get is the issue. So honestly, I might see about how we can like save scum it maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do multiple playthroughs. We'll see. Hopefully not, but we might. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me start the raid out then. So we're gonna go to Dyson, who's doing a first playthrough of Pragmata. But thank you all so much for hanging out today. Please make sure to follow us along for the raid to Dyson. It helps me out, it helps them out, and everyone's a winner. You don't have to stay for long if you need to raid and run, but yeah. So if you are a sub, you can pick any raid message you would like. If you're a follower, please use that top one with the roses. But I will catch you all maybe next Monday, honestly. We'll see. I'll post a schedule hopefully tomorrow and we'll see what we're feeling. I want to finish Killing Floor 3. I want to finish Feline Forensics, but we will see because that one might be a multiple playthrough game. So we will see on that front, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah. So yeah. But I will see you all next week. Bye everyone.